Okay, hello, everybody. All right, so I've got that going.
Chat. Where are you, chat?
Boop.
You clicked live already?
It should have gone live. Did it not go live?
Oh wait, now there it is. Okay, I think I'm just low.
Making me panic every time.
I'm sorry. No, everything is fine. You did everything perfectly correct.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. Also, I need to post on socials with photos of us every time. We're gonna take like 1,000 photos next week. Okay.
Oh, I know. All the selfies.
Yeah.
We need like PG photos. Is like the problem.
I know.
I have so many non-PG photos in the drive.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have a folder, right?
Darius and Kate Payne and Michael Lee. Yes. Did I send it to you? I added you, so you should have it in your...
I know, I should have it. Let's see, where is it?
If you go to your sharing...
Yeah, I have 1,000 shared ones. I share with literally everyone.
I called it BL Podcast, if it helps.
Got it. Yes. Oh my god. Okay, no, I have a cute one for us.
Okay, great.
Okay, copy, post it to Twitter. I've been so bad about posting to the Twitter.
Oh no.
Streaming live right now about Heaven official blessing chapters. What chapters are we reviewing?
We are on 176 to question mark.
Let's just do 176. Deep diving into the chapter. And then youtube.com/@BLHQ podcast. Woo! So good at this. All right, so that's tweeted.
Sorry, I'm just like looking to see if there's any more pictures I missed. I feel like there's more.
I have to go through mine and add all of my pictures. I just haven't had time.
Yeah, you probably have more.
Yeah, for sure I have. I have a bunch.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
Okay, hello everyone.
Hi guys. How's it going? I'm going to start recording now, even before we actually record the podcast. I just don't want to end up doing the same thing as last time. I'm so embarrassed.
Yeah, that was such a pain.
Yeah.
It's okay, it only happened the one time.
The one time.
It's only once.
And then we had to re-record the episode because the audio was just garbage. It was literal garbage.
She was trying to pull it from the stream, and it was like not a good idea. No. It's not happening.
Yeah, it came out terrible.
It's okay.
Dude, I had a really fun time the other night where Marshall is living with me now. You can see his bed behind me.
Is this like a permanent situation?
He's going to be here until at least June.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's actually going to Japan for like 3 months, and there's no reason for him to like start paying rent.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Like someplace, I'm just like, yo, just take over, whatever. I don't give a shit. Yeah, but the instead of paying rent, his reciprocal thing for me, like I gave him a place to live, he has to listen to me talk about BL. I gave him all of the snippets.
An unwilling audience member.
Absolutely. That's like my favorite kind of friend, is the people who I just take hostage, okay?
It's like, you're gonna have to listen to me talk for the next 5 hours, and you have no choice because you live here now. It's my roof.
Exactly. So what I ended up doing until 4 a.m. was explain to him all of the different case fix in Heaven Official's Blessing.
Oh, from the beginning.
Yeah. Yes. Well, like, I just went all over the place. I think the first one I told was about the Rain Master, because I was like, oh, I just finished editing the episode. He's like, oh, what was the episode about? I'm like, Rain Master. She is the princess who slit her throat. And he's like, yo, shit, what?
You have to tell him about all 4 of the big major tales.
I did.
Like
Okay, so throughout the night, all the way until 4 a.m., I told him about 80% of the case fix from the story, like everyone's character. So after Rain Master, I did Earth Master and Wind Master and Water Master, and then I went into let's see who else. I did Xuanji, like I explained Xuanji and her whole like bridegroom thing, because I was like explaining at that point. I was like, oh, have you ever seen like pictures of these people dressed in red and then like the blood rain? And I'm like, oh, it's from this case fic, because he's seen tons of art of that. Like Marshall is,
it's like fucking everywhere now.
Like Marshall has tons of friends who love BL. He's friends with tons of artists, so of course he's seen that like visual before. And then I explained like pre-blackening of Xie Lian, like so innocent Xie Lian, you know, like
when he was still a naive teenager.
Yes. And then
when he still had dreams.
Yeah, and then I explained the kingdom that happened afterwards. Like, what was the kingdom that Yong'An? Yeah, so I explained that, and then I explained Banyue, and like I just explained like kind of like all the terrible things that happened to Xie Lian, and then I went all the way back in time and went to Wu Yang and explained Wu Yang. And then
oh my god, you're like spoilers all over the place.
I know. Okay. And then I explained Crimson Rain-Sought Flower, and he fucking loves Huatan. Like he loves
He's so badass.
Like, he loves his name. He loves his origins. Like he loves the name Crimson Rain-Sought Flower. He's like, that is the most badass name I've ever heard.
Yeah. All the Supreme Ghosts, like Blackwater Sinking Ship, Crimson Rain-Sought Flower, like these are all good.
White No Face, yo, he fucking loves the name White No Face. I'm like, yo, sheesh, this is great.
And when you like, did you show him like art of him and stuff?
No, not yet. So like I'm gonna have to go through and like show him art.
Get the visuals.
Oh my god, visuals. I know. I like explained what the mask looked like, and then I explained the soldier that followed him around, like Wu Ming, I think is his name.
Yeah, no name.
Yeah, Wu Ming, and then
the soldier with no name.
And then I showed him. And then I explained to him Land of the Tender. So I was like, okay.
Of course. We have to throw in some horny in there.
There was 0% horny the entire time until I finally was like, oh, there's like this one horny thing that happens and it's Land of Tender.
Yeah, it's like that and like the coffin scene and then the kissing temple. Like those are that's all we get.
I didn't even explain the kissing temple or the coffin scene. I did explain the drowning scene in which like Xie Lian was like, well, I guess CPR. I gotta CPR it. And it was so adorable and not horny at all. It's mostly just like embarrassing. For
it's so funny. It's just because he like obviously was crushing on him like really bad at that time, and he like is like, yes, CPR is what you need.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, no brain, just thinking with my dick.
Yep, basically.
So it was really fun to explain all of this to him, especially because he has like no idea what it was about. Just understood that it was BL, and he also had the perspective that BL was just like straight up smut. I'm like, no, it's actually mostly dark case fix.
It's like a whole thing. It's like its own genre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Next time I'm gonna do Urha, I think.
Oh my god, that's even
so
longer.
Yeah,
you're gonna be up till like 7 in the morning.
Oh my god, but it was really fun, and I love having an audience when I'm just explaining this kind of stuff. It's great. It's really fun.
That's why we have this podcast.
Exactly, because you guys are forced to listen to us talk about this.
Yes. And today's gonna be a double episode, so extra long stream.
So I hope you guys are ready and strapped in. The reason we're doing the double episode is because next week we both are going on a ski trip.
Yes.
Yeah.
A whole week off.
And then the week after that, and the week after that, I will be in Japan. And I think also the week after that. So like, hopefully we'll have enough episodes. We'll see. We're also going to try and record an episode while we're on the ski trip as well.
Yeah, I was going to just bring my whole like streaming laptop just in case.
Yeah, smart. Me too. I'll bring everything.
Yeah, I was like, why? I'm going to be off Twitch for a whole last week. I'm like, maybe I can do an IRL stream or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Hopefully the internet's good. Okay, sweet.
That's true.
Let's see. We can get started now.
I am just seriously like, I forgot to do the acronyms. Let me just like find all the acronyms.
Oh yeah, totally fine. This week I'm gonna, instead of doing for the off topics today, I'm going to do like recaps of old manhwa that I've read. It's because I realized that we've mostly been talking about fan fiction. I'm like, maybe we should talk about some manhwas, and then that way for the people who like to see cute visuals, they can.
I have to like remember the manhwas that I've read because it's been so long, and I can tell you how I felt when I was reading them, but like I don't know if I remember like the plot synopsis.
Absolutely. Some of them I don't even remember the plots because they were so generic. It'd be like, oh, and they were in school and then they kind of fell in love or something, but there's some
or college students.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's just all the ones that I really like and they're memorable to me are like the fantasy based ones where there's like, like monsters or like ghosts or like spirits or like something just like sci-fi or like supernatural or something, like just not slice of life.
Yeah.
Cool shit.
Yeah. I remember all the like Omega verse ones, the like dark ones like
sure.
Warehouse, some of the
We can
mafia
talk about
ones.
Warehouse.
Yeah. Oh man, Warehouse is so fucked. So yeah, we can. I would love to talk about Warehouse, but I think we should do that for the bottom show because Warehouse is like extremely explicit.
Definitely, especially if we want to talk about it in spoileriness, like definitely bottom
Yeah.
show material.
Yay.
Okay, I'm good to go with the acronyms now.
I would love for you to do, if you haven't, we can do a deep dive on Kingmaker because since it's one of your favorites.
I love Kingmaker.
Yeah,
Yes,
I would love that.
Yeah, I love that. Have you started it at all or anything?
I did start it, but I would, like I, even though there's spoilers, I'm still down to listen to you talk about stuff. Yeah.
I'm good.
Cool.
Yay.
Okay, let's get started then.
Okay. Welcome to BLHQ.
I'm Stella Chu.
Hold on. Should I just like, if whoever's starting it, say their name first? It feels so weird when
totally.
I'm
Yeah, fine.
Okay.
I will put that there. That makes a lot of sense.
It's like sometimes you start and then sometimes I think, yeah, I just copy pasted this. Okay. Welcome to BLHQ. I'm Jenny Belly.
And I'm Stella Chu.
This is our weekly podcast breaking down the Danmei web novel, Heaven Official's Blessing, written by MXTX. We deep dive a few chapters at a time and discuss themes, cultural backgrounds, and our overall reactions. Spoilers abound and screaming will be had, so you have been warned.
A recap of last week, Feng and Mu Qing cause an avalanche that drops them along with Xie Lian and White into the cave of 10,000 gods. Feng and Mu Qing find White acting strangely, so they separate Xie Lian from him. They discover from the statues and paintings in the cave that White had been following Xie Lian for 800 years and was actually that small child that fell during the god-pleasing parade. They tell Xie Lian that Huaten's actions and intentions are evil, but Xie Lian doesn't believe them and still trusts Huaten. As they're running away, Huaten suddenly appears before them.
Uh-oh.
This is, we're currently in the Cave of 10,000 Gods arc, which I also like to call Huaten's masturbation cave.
Yes. You'll find out the reason soon enough. Like probably this episode. The reason So we are starting with chapter 176, Cave of 10,000 Gods, Faces of 10,000 Gods Revealed. The talismans and boulders barely stopped Hua Cheng, and these are the things that Feng had like shot after him after they tried to run away with Xie Lian. Feng and Mu Qing immediately send out attacks, grab Xie Lian, and run away the other way. As they're running, they realize that Hua Cheng can find them through Xie Lian's red string. They try to grab his arm, but Xie Lian quickly pulls his hand away and shouts, "You can't!" Feng tries to reason with him, but Xie Lian says he's not afraid of Hua Cheng and wants to ask him about the paintings and statues directly. Mu Qing is shocked and says, "You want to talk to him still? I think he'd have to devour you completely for you to fully understand just how powerful he is." Xie Lian replies, "But I already know he's powerful. You guys won't tell me what the mural was, and you won't let me go near him. You can't convince me of doing anything like this."
Mu Qing says that Huaten is a ghost king and he's acting strange. That's enough reason to stay away. Xie Lian says that either they let him see the mural or go talk to Huaten. Mu Qing and Feng block him and shout at the same time, "We'll allow neither!" Xie Lian rolls up his sleeve and says, "Since you both said no, then let's solve this with our fists. Who's first? Or will you both come at me together?" Feng gets ready to fight, but Mu Qing sneaks up behind Xie Lian and sticks a command spell talisman on his back and orders him to stay still and not talk. Feng can't believe that Mu Qing would do something so sneaky, but Mu Qing says that they have no time. Huaten will catch up and Xie Lian is too infuriated to reason with. Huaten is like a fox.
Infatuated.
Whoops. Huaten will catch up and Xie Lian is too infatuated to reason with. Huaten is like a fox spirit and Xie Lian just believes anything he says. That's very true. He's been seduced.
He is. He's like a little fox spirit trying to seduce him. And also, if you guys forgot about this fucking mural, so they're in this cave, and Mu Qing and Feng saw this mural that Xie Lian did not see. And in this book, they will not show what the mural is, but they saw something so horrifying to them that they covered Xie Lian's eyes and made him run away so that he can't see what it is.
So horrifying.
Yes, it's horrifying. Like, the fan theory is literally just, like, Xie Lian and Hua Cheng having sex. Like, it's, like, just fan art of Hua Cheng fucking Xie Lian.
Self-insert fan art, you guys.
Yeah. And, like, Feng Shen and Mu Qing are so horrified, and they think that Hua Cheng obviously has like bad intentions for Xie Lian, and like want to do terrible things to him. So they're like, "Oh my god, we have to protect Xie Lian's innocence. We can't let him see this
Teehee,
mural."
teehee, teehee.
Ah, so funny. Mu Qing commands Xie Lian to walk, and the three of them continue down the path. But their path is soon blocked by boulders, and Mu Qing and Feng Shen start bickering about what to do. Feng Shen says that they have no time and starts to punch through the boulders, and Mu Qing uses his saber to make the rocks explode. Finally, the path is cleared and the dust clouds up. But when the dust settles, they see Hua Cheng in front of them. Xie Lian's eyes light up, but he can't move. Hua Cheng stands with his hands behind his back, silently. Feng Shen and Mu Qing are creeped out. Was Hua Cheng just waiting on the other side of the rocks for them? Hua Cheng's eyes goes to Xie Lian, and Feng Shen and Mu Qing immediately block him, shouting, "Don't come any closer!"
Huaten's face goes dark. Normally when someone tells Huaten to stay away, he just laughs and goes away. But this time, he looks genuinely... He goes anyway, sorry. He just laughs and goes anyway. But this time, he looks genuinely wary and doesn't move. Finally, he says, "What do you two mean by this?" Feng Shen says, "You don't need to pretend anymore. We know this is your old lair. We've already seen what those divine statues and those paintings... We've already seen what's with those divine statues and those paintings. We've seen everything." Hearing this, Huaten's finger curls stiffly. He tilts his head and says softly, "His Highness also saw?" Xie Lian wants to say, "No," but he can't move or speak. His body is turned away as if hiding from Huaten.
This is gonna cause so many misunderstandings. Feng Shen aims his bow and says, "That's right. We've now understood what intentions you have. In respect of you as a ghost king, if you should still have some dignity, please don't come near His Highness again." Xie Lian hopes for Hua Cheng to notice that something is off, but Hua Cheng seems unable to focus. He says coldly, "Don't go near him? And what right and position do you two have to say that to me? But you have reminded me that we still have unfinished business to settle." He sends out a storm of butterflies. Feng Shen and Mu Qing quickly put up a shield, but the butterflies are relentless and continue to attack.
Huaten moves forward with Yiming, and Mu Qing and Feng Shen realize they can't just keep their shield up and they need to fight back. The battle is truly exciting, with Huaten standing his ground 2 against 1. This is the first time Xie Lian has seen Yiming fighting seriously, and it's chillingly murderous with a wicked, evil gleam. Soon, Huaten disarms Mu Qing and the butterflies overwhelm Feng Shen's arrows. When White Silk comes out and wraps Mu Qing and Feng Shen in giant cocoons. Mu Qing shouts, "I knew it was you who threw us into that pit!" They all realize the silk is butterfly silk, not spider silk, obviously created by Huaten's butterflies.
Yes, he's responsible for the pit. Hua Cheng sneers that he threw them into the pit to save their lives, since it was their yelling that caused the avalanche. His original plan was to leave them in the pit and lead Xie Lian out of the cave. But since Mu Qing and Feng Shen chewed through their mouth bindings, their loud noises led Xie Lian to discovering them and ruined Hua Cheng's plans. And now things are like this, the worst case scenario for Hua Cheng, and everything is exposed. Xie Lian wants to move, but he's still under the influence of the talisman. Hua Cheng's eyes grow cold and heavy, and he says to Mu Qing in a light voice, "It seems the one with talent for sabers is me, not you."
Mu Qing is wrapped in the cocoon and he chokes out, You, I see, I get it," Mu Qing says hatefully. The real reason Huaten hates Mu Qing and Feng Shen is madness. Back then, Xie Lian wanted to promote Huaten when he was a young mortal soldier because he was good with sword work and suitable for the saber. Feng Shen asks, "What's that got to do with the hatred he has for you?" But before he can say more, Huaten punches Mu Qing in the face and smiles, "Because he booted me from the army." Feng Shen is astonished. "What the fuck? Why did you boot him from the army? Did he piss you off?"
Mu Qing replies, "I only made him go home. It's not like fighting a war is a good thing. How should I know he'd end up this crazy, holding grudges until now?" Hua Cheng punches him again and then smiles. "Think I can't guess why you booted me back then? Mu Qing spits out blood and says spitefully slow, "Thank goodness I kicked you out. Otherwise, if we kept you in the army and allowed you to get closer to His Highness, were you just gonna watch him all day with your mind full of unspeakable filth? Disgusting. Hua Qing raises his hand, but doesn't move to hit. His fingers clenching and unclenching.
Watson changes the subject. I won't argue with you on that for a moment. You just tell me now, honestly, was what both of you were yelling about before the avalanche true? Fengxian and Mu Qing look shocked, but instead of responding, Mu Qing shouts out, Your Highness, run! Xie Lian is forced to obey and moves to run, but Watson immediately turns around and shoots out silk. Xie Lian is bound and falls to the ground. Xie Lian's hands and feet are tied, and he lays sprawled out, his black hair and white sleeves scattered. Watson walks a few steps towards him, but Fengxian shouts out and begs, Watson, let His Highness go. He's already suffered enough. Don't to him.
Hua Qing doesn't speak and picks up Xie Lian in his arms. Xie Lian leans against him and he can see Fengxian and Mu Qing from this angle. Fengxian looks like he's about to watch a lamb go to slaughter, like Xie Lian is going to be devoured, and he starts yelling. Mu Qing is trying to bite the silk off, but it's all pointless. Hua Qing knows the path of the Cave of 10,000 Gods like the back of his hands, and after many turns and corners, the figures of those two soon disappear along with their voices.
Ooh. Ooh.
So, Hua Qing is kidnapping Xie Lian.
Yep.
And Fengxian and Mu Qing think that he's up to no good, doing something devious. What's going to happen?
This could become very spicy.
Yeah. Oh my god. Did you read the fanfic about the dark Hua Qing version of this?
No, I haven't. Send to me.
Okay.
Send to me.
I have to find it. It was written by like an anonymous person because this person like writes like all the like really fucked up versions of Hua Qing, like totally not in character. It's just like if he was like an actual bad guy and he was like he had bad intentions for Xie Lian. But there's this scene because like Xie Lian is basically he's like stuck in this talisman. He can't move. He's bound with ropes or like by silk, and Hua Qing has him taken away into a secluded area in the cave
inside of his masturbation cave.
Inside of his masturbation cave. Yeah, and Hua Qing's mindset right now is not great. He's in despair because he thinks that Xie Lian has found out his like dirty little secret, and Xie Lian's not responding to him, so he thinks that Xie Lian hates him now. So things are just not looking great right now.
Not looking good. I mean, it doesn't seem like Xie Lian is against all of this. He kind of just believes in Watson. He definitely trusts Watson more than he trusts Mu Qing and Fengxian.
Yes, which is crazy because he's known Mu Qing and Fengxian all his life, like since he was like a baby. And Hua Qing, he's only known for like
a couple of months.
A month? Yeah, like a few months. And it's like, but I will die for you. Like he's like, ready to protect him and defend him like every which way. Like, oh my god.
Which is really cute. And also it's like it goes to show like as long as you don't betray Xie Lian, he'll forever protect you or something like that.
That's great. Yeah, he loves him. It's so great.
All right, let's look at chat. Yay, Kate Payne, you're now part of this part. Like it's just like I forgot that we left off here. So excited. Yes, I know this is such a good. This is one of the best arcs. It's so fucking good.
Totally
so much potential for spice.
Okay. Yeah. Oh.
Yes. Welcome, everyone who just joined. Hi, Anthony. Hello. Yeah, it's getting spicy. It's getting hot in here. Love it.
Tanguria says he's trying to recreate his fanfic. Abso-fucking-lutely.
There's this really funny fanfiction I found where it was young Watson trying to write his own smut, and he sends it to Hushwant for review. And it's the funny. I've talked about it before, but it's like, and then they kiss each other, and it was very hot, and then he kisses him, and then he comes, and it was very sexy, and they both loved each other very much. It was really so bad. Like 12-year-old boy writing fan fiction vibes. Like it's so funny. And so on top of the fact that like it's unreadable because of his handwriting.
Yes. Cherry on top.
Yes. So it's Xie Lian who discovers these scrolls they're like, you know, like 800-year-old scrolls and whatever. So he's just like, oh, what is this? But he can read Huatson's handwriting because he's been married to him. So he's just like,
recognizes it.
Fuck? And it's so endearing. It's so cute. It's so embarrassing. And even like you read like He Xuan's replies, and it's like, why did you send me this? This is disgusting. You're so bad at writing.
What the fuck? Yeah, stop sending this to me. I hate it.
So he's like, but I just want you to review it for me. You're my beta writer.
Like beta reader. Yeah.
Such a good. I'll try and find it. It's such a good.
I need to read it. I need some funny. I need some comedy.
It's so funny. I was laughing so hard. Oh my god.
Great. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hello, Gabby.
Hello, Gabby. Welcome. Oh my gosh. All right, let's move on to the next chapter. We're currently on chapter 177. Yeah. And you posted, what's this YouTube video you posted into the thing?
This is a YouTube video to an artist named Melty, and they are the greatest because they did a fan animation music video. And this scene, this whole cave scene, is in the middle of this video, and it's really well done. There is spoilers, however, for the rest of the series. So I do not recommend watching this video if you are a Patreon and can have access to the doc. The YouTube link is in the doc. I do not recommend watching this video if you have not finished the book and you do not want spoilers. But if you are you're a veteran, you already know the series in and out, definitely watch this video. It makes me cry every single time. I watch it like once a month. Like, it's so good.
Really? Okay, I'll have to watch. I think I've seen it, but I'll watch it again. I also made our YouTube channel subscribe to their channel so that, like, if you guys
can see that. Cool. Yes. Okay, great. Yeah, they're great. Okay.
All right, jumping back into it. Let me start. Okay. Chapter 177. Huatsun takes Xie Lian deeper into the cave with stiff arms, carefully avoiding his skin. Xie Lian tries to blink at Huatsun as a message, but Huatsun avoids his eyes. Finally, he brings him into a chamber that has a stone bed with stone bed with straw on top. When Huatsun sets him down, he finally realizes that there's a talisman on Xie Lian's back, and he's under a spell. Xie Lian is overjoyed and is waiting for Huatsun to remove the talisman, but unexpectedly, Huatsun leaves it alone and lays Xie Lian flat on the bed. He says quietly, "Your Highness, don't worry. I won't kill those two useless trash for now, even though I really want to murder them."
Xie Lian is laying on the stone bed and struggling to move against the spell. He doesn't understand why Hua Qing hasn't removed it yet. Hua Qing reaches out to untie Xie Lian's belt. When at that moment, the spell weakens and Xie Lian's leg jerks up and he shouts, "Ah!" Hua Qing freezes immediately and withdraws his hand. He says, "I won't." Hua Qing's face grows unreadable and he says quietly, "Your Highness, I won't do anything to you. Don't be scared." Xie Lian realizes that Hua Qing is afraid of how he will react, and that's why he hasn't released the spell yet. Hua Qing says reassuringly, "Your Highness, trust me." Hua Qing has said this phrase many times, but this time sounds weak compared to before.
Oh man, if we just stopped right there where he like removes the belt, that's where the spiciness can just happen. The darkest timeline can go that way. Ooh.
Yeah, basically, this is where the divergence starts.
Xie Lian doesn't want to create another misunderstanding, so he stops trying to move and lays still, waiting for the spell to weaken on its own. Seeing that Xie Lian isn't resisting anymore, Huatsun unties Xie Lian's belt and robes. He takes a long time since he's trying not to touch Xie Lian any more than necessary. Then he sends out butterflies to heal Xie Lian's skin, which has been bleeding and torn from frostbite. Xie Lian himself had forgotten that he was injured, but Huatsun is determined to make sure he's not in pain. When Huatsun raises his arm to heal his hands, Xie Lian suddenly is reminded of the past. In a dark cave, the trembling and heated hands of a boy, random, panicked touches, irregular breathing, and heart racing. Random tender, oh my god!
Oh god. Xie Lian's face and mind goes hot. That memory was sealed up, and now they're suddenly resurfacing. Especially now with Hua Qing in front of him, doing the same thing. Xie Lian is afraid that Hua Qing will see, but Hua Qing keeps his face respectfully turned away and averting his gaze. But unexpectedly, Mu Qing's voice suddenly shouts out, "Hua Qing, you madman! What do you think you're doing to His Highness? You're disgusting." Hua Cheng turns around and sees Mu Qing and Feng at the entrance to the chamber. It looks like they freed themselves from the cocoons and somehow found this place. But the scene in front of them makes their faces go pale. Feng shouts out, You! Let him go right now.
God damn it, cock-blocking bitches! When your BFFs are not helping. They are not helping. They are just making things awful. Like, dude, I'm just trying to get my dick wet, okay? Get out.
Oh my god.
Hua-Cheng instantly pulls Xie Lian's clothes up and says coldly, You two useless trash dare seek us out. I think you're tired of living. Mu Qing sneers, Move your filthy hands. You ugly toad wants to taste a swan's meat. You ugly toad wants a taste of swan meat? Never mind you dreaming of it for 800 years. Even if you hope for another thousands of years. For
1,000 years?
Another 1,000 years. There we go. Yeah. Even if you hope for another 1,000 years, don't you dare touch a single finger of His Highness. Xie Lian thinks that it's strange that Mu Qing and Feng are provoking Hua-Cheng like this, like they're intentionally trying to get him to lose his temper. Sure enough, Hua-Cheng grows outraged and strikes out quickly with Yiming. Mu Qing and Feng are slashed deeply at their torso, blood gushing out and flooding the floor. They fall to the ground, cursing, gritting their teeth, close to death.
Oh no, Mu Qing and Feng Xie Lian never expected such a thing to happen, and he lays dumbstruck on the bed. Hua Cheng looks back and approaches Xie Lian with a grim expression. He pulls him up and presses him hard into an embrace, whispering, How could I possibly let go? But then he releases the talisman on Xie Lian. Even though Hua Cheng says he wouldn't let go, he loosens his hold. Even though Hua Cheng says he wouldn't let go, he loosens his hold on Xie Lian. Xie Lian quickly runs to the pool of blood and says, Feng Xin, Mu Qing, are you two all right? Mu Qing's eyes are already fading. Feng Xin uses his last breath to say, Watch out of Hua Cheng. Don't go near him. He is a monster. But unexpectedly, Xie Lian's face goes calm. He stands back up and says, I'm curious, is he more of a monster than you two? Then he pulls out his sword, Feng Xin, and pierces Feng Xin through the heart, then returns to Hua Cheng's side.
Xie Lian points his sword at the corpses on the ground. Since blood has spilt, there's no more need to keep Since blood has spilt, there's no more need to talk. Bleh. Since blood has spilt, there's no need to keep talking through those skins. A chilling laugh comes out of Mu Qing's body, and it twists around to face Xie Lian. These are imposters using fake skins, and the real Feng Xin and Mu Qing are still stuck in the cocoons. The fake Feng Xin and Mu Qing smile chillingly and melt into puddles. The pool of blood bubbles and boils until it solidifies into the shape of a man. In front of them is a tall and slender 17-year-old man wearing a mask that is half crying and half smiling. He says with a bright, warm voice, How are you, Xie Lian? Xie Lian's mind goes numb. Hua-Cheng raises his blade and lunges.
Oh god, he's back.
White no face.
Yes. The man in white dodges Yiming and flashes behind Hua Cheng, reaching for Xie Lian's face. But there's a streak of light and his hand is chopped off. Hua Cheng stands in front of Xie Lian and says, Move your filthy hands. The man in white is unaffected and just shakes his sleeve to grow a new hand. He uses his new hand to strike Hua Cheng's right eye. Hua Cheng dodges, but there are 2 bloody scratches on his cheek. This is the first time that Hua Cheng has been unable to dodge an attack. His eyes grow sharp, and he calls forth millions of butterflies to attack. They cover the man in white in a sharp, silver cocoon, but the butterflies suddenly shriek and explode into millions of silver powder.
The man in white aims for Hua-Cheng's right eye again, but this time Xie Lian strikes out with Feng Xin and chops off the entire arm. They can't fight back, so Xie Lian and Hua-Cheng run out through the tunnel. Xie Lian says, It's him! He really didn't die. Hua-Cheng runs while spreading out butterflies and silk behind the... Hua-Cheng runs while sending out butterflies and silk behind him to create obstacles. That might not be the original one. Xie Lian immediately stops running and hugs his head. No, I can feel it. It must be the original one. Not only did he not die, he's become even stronger. Otherwise, how could he transform into Feng and Mu Qing's appearances so easily? It's very difficult to impersonate heavenly officials. It should be nearly impossible to create their fake skins.
Hua Chen can see Xie Lian beginning to panic, so he holds his hands and says, Your Highness, don't be scared. It might not be that he's much stronger. There's another possibility, and it's that he's very familiar with Feng and Mu Qing. That's why he can make their fake skins. This must be someone that you all... But before he can finish, he realizes that Xie Lian is staring at their held hands. He freezes and lets go, moving his hands behind his back and turning around. Xie Lian calls out, San Lang. Hua Cheng's body stiffens, but he does not look back. He says, Your Highness. Xie Lian stands behind him and says, A lot of things happened just now, and everyone's all confused and messed up.
Watson replies, Xie Lian continues, Although we're all still kind of messed up right now, but I still want to take this chance to ask you a question, and I hope you'll answer me honestly and seriously. All right, Watson says. Xie Lian questions solemnly, Just who is that noble, gracious, special someone? Watson's hand that is tied with the red knot twitches. After a silent while, he answers slowly, If your Highness has already found out, then why ask? Xie Lian nods. I see. So I didn't misunderstand you. It really is true. Watson doesn't speak.
After a pause, Xie Lian says, You don't want to know how I feel about this? Hua Cheng turns his head slightly, but is afraid to look Xie Lian in the eye. He says with a cracked voice, Will your Highness not tell me? Xie Lian says, I'm sorry. Something like this has to be said clearly. Hua Cheng sucks in a deep breath and his face goes pale, but he smiles courteously and says, That's true. That's for the best. He closes his eyes like a criminal waiting for his death sentence. But suddenly, Xie Lian runs forward and hugs him from behind with force. He buries his head into Hua Cheng's back. Nothing is said, but it is enough. After a moment, Hua Cheng turns around and returns the hold, holding Xie Lian tightly. He says with a staggering voice, Your Highness, you really will be the death of me.
Finally, they confess to each other. Finally. Chapter 177, they finally fucking confessed. Oh my god.
After all that. Oh my god. I'm so happy. It's like Xie Lian knew his feelings from the beginning. Like he knew how he felt, but he just felt like he wasn't good enough because of all the shameful things that he's done over his life. He just felt like he wasn't good enough for someone as awesome and like powerful and like, you know, Hua Cheng just gives off this air of being just like, you know, invincible. And he just felt like he wasn't good enough.
He's so rich and he's so cool. He's like a mafia lord, and Xie Lian's literally a homeless guy.
Yeah, literally. He just collects trash all day. Like that's his life.
Yeah.
And but after seeing that Hua Cheng has known him for 800 years, he realized that he's that special certain someone that Hua Cheng has been in love with all this time. So good.
I love when a character like just thinks that they're not worth anything. They have the worst self-esteem, and that somebody just loves them unconditionally regardless of anything. Like they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be accomplished. They could just be themselves.
They love them for who they are as just like a person, and they just accept all the flaws that they have, and just like they're just it's just such good love. It's such good writing.
It's
oh my
god.
God.
It's so deep. Like, you know, this is why we love MXTX's books. The characters don't just fall for each other because of like circumstance and proximity. Like there's so many good reasons for them to like each other. Like so many multifaceted reasons. And this is why I love when women write romance and other kinds of fiction.
it's so like it's so deep. Like there's just so much like it's so rich, and it's not just like cliche bullshit that you just two people just falling in love with each other for like for reasons. It's like there are good reasons, and it's like a lot of history, and it's so much character development that happens, and I love this journey that they went on. It's just so good.
There's so many good reasons for them to like each other. Like Watson is he is so devoted to Xie Lian since day one. Not only is he the person that saved him, but he's the person who consistently was like nice to him and consistently
Always
was there for
believed
them.
in him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because when Xie Lian was a teenager, he did not pay any attention to Hua Cheng. He like was like, oh, what's with this kid? Like he literally like just thought, oh, what a silly child or whatever. And like he did care about Hua Cheng when he was like injured and stuff, but just not like personally, just like as a person who would care about another person who's hurt. And then it really is like later on when as he gets to know Hua Cheng more as like a person, like that's when he falls in love. Like, it's
Well, yeah, because there's no reason for him to fall in love with a child.
well, yeah. I mean, but even when Hua Cheng was a teenager and like fighting for him, or like later on when like Wu Ming comes around, like there's not much like I feel like if anyone else wrote this, they would have made Xie Lian fall in love like from the beginning. But like the way that this is written, it's just it's you can see like the evolution of his thoughts as he like grows as a person.
Yeah.
And like how that changes with his relationship with the people around him too.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And it's just so nice to see how consistent Huaten is. Like once we get to book 4, you guys are gonna
We're
see.
about to get to book 4.
Oh my god! Yes, book 4. Oh my god, the
Like
best.
literally at chapter like 180 is like book 4.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, my feelings.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at chat.
Okay.
Well, welcome, Karadur. I'm sorry you didn't get a notification, but we're gonna try and make sure that it's every Tuesday at like 4:30/5 o'clock ish. Yeah.
Oh, that's central. That's Pacific time.
Pacific
so that
time.
would be 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock Central time. Yes. Kate says I'm scared of book 4. Girl, I know. I was writing the notes for book 4, and I was already feeling sad. Like it starts sad and it just gets worse. Like there's no happiness, zero happiness.
I hope you guys are ready for crying. Lots of crying. We'll probably have to like supplement all of the episodes with like the nicest, most wholesome off topics.
Yes, we need some like non-angsty stories.
Yeah, just
afterwards.
fluff, just pure fluff.
And like it's like because even in book 2, like it was sad, but there was like romantic scenes still,
Yeah.
Book 4 so far, zero happiness. It's been nothing but pain the entire time. Like there's no breather, like zero breathers.
So much pain.
Like, oh, I forgot how dark this was.
I can't wait. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I love the hurt. I love it so much. I love the angst. I love the pain. It's my favorite.
Yeah. I love
delicious.
the balance of this book because it's not like 100% angst. It's like there's a good balance here.
Okay, let's move on to the next chapter. Chapter 178. Right at that moment, there's an explosion and they hear the shriek of the butterflies. Xie Lian says that they should talk later. They continue running through the cave, but this time they're holding hands. Xie Lian's face is hot. He asks how Huaten found out that Feng and Mu Qing were fakes. Huaten replies that he left butterflies to monitor the real ones. Xie Lian says they need to release the real one or else the white cloth calamity will kill them if he finds them. Huaten leads the way back. Even from a distance, they can hear Mu Qing and Feng arguing. Why did you tell His Highness to run? Now you've done it. He's being carried away. What? And have him stand around to be butchered?
Xie Lian doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. Feng and Mu Qing are simultaneously chewing on the silk and yelling at each other. When they see him, they are shocked. They say, "How did you escape?" Hua Cheng suddenly reappears and releases the silk, and Mu Qing and Feng fall to the ground. Feng reaches out to grab Xie Lian's arm, but Xie Lian grabs Hua Cheng's arm first. Feng is shocked, but Hua Cheng looks pleased. Feng says, "Your Highness, why are you still with him?" Mu Qing says, "Didn't I say he lost his mind? Completely infatuated." Xie Lian says, "There's no time to explain now. In any case, let's get out of here first. There's an enemy chasing us from behind." Hua Cheng says, I suggest you both hold your tongue and just follow. I'm in a good mood, so I won't fight. I'm in a good mood, so I won't fight you for now.
Because Guga finally confessed to me.
Yes, they're in love.
Mu Qing and Feng Shen are in complete disbelief. From their perspective, they can't figure out why Xie Lian was so nonchalantly walking alongside a terrifying bastard ghost who stalked him for over 800 years with a dirty, unspeakable mind. Mu Qing asks who the enemy is, and Xie Lian says that it's the white-clothed calamity, White No-Face, by Wu Shang. Mu Qing and Feng Shen's face immediately change, and they follow after Xie Lian. They know that Xie Lian wouldn't joke and lie about something except for... They know that Xie Lian could joke and lie about anything except for this one person. Xie Lian explains what happens with the fakes as the group runs away.
Mu Qing is stunned because it is almost impossible for a ghost to disguise themselves as a heavenly official. Feng Shen is also confused since didn't Jin Wu kill White No-Face? Mu Qing wonders if he was killed but then somehow revived. Xie Lian's theory is that when White No-Face entered Mount Tonglu, he was still weak and newly reborn. But after killing thousands of ghosts and monsters on the eastern path, he's grown even more powerful. And remember, while the Mount Tonglu thing is happening, every time you kill a ghost, your power goes up straight, like tenfold. And he's killed thousands of ghosts, so he's like super strong now. Suddenly, Hua Cheng says that White No-Face has blocked all the exits. Xie Lian wants to use himself as bait so that Mu Qing and Feng Shen can escape and inform Jin Wu of the situation. Feng Shen says he wants to stay behind to help.
In the past, it was always Mu Qing that was sent back to report, and Feng Shen that stayed behind to assist. But now, Xie Lian glances at Hua Cheng and says there's no need since Hua Cheng's staying with him. Feng Shen is about to protest, but Xie Lian says with a determined voice, he's fine. I trust him. You two go together. Mount Tonglu has closed its gates, so it's difficult to say if you can even charge out. Besides, don't you still need to search for Lan Chan and the child? Feng Shen's face grows pale. Hua Cheng lets out a butterfly and tells him to follow it. After some hesitation, Mu Qing says, you two watch yourselves, and then turns to follow the butterfly. Feng Shen follows after him.
Hua Cheng and Xie Lian hear more explosions, so they continue to run while Hua Cheng uses his butterflies to create more obstacles and monitor the situation. But every time there is an explosion and shriek of butterflies, Xie Lian's heart grows heavy. He sighs and says, I can't believe this many silver butterflies are lost. Those butterflies have a scary reputation, but Xie Lian sees them as cute and clever spirits. They're committing suicidal attacks non-stop, if only to delay the enemy for a moment. But Hua Cheng just snorts and says darkly, don't worry. If he kills one, I'll make 10 more. Fast and furious like the storms, I will never back down. Let's see who the one's left standing in the end.
Hearing this, Xie Lian's heart skips a beat, and he thinks to himself, oh no, this is bad. He's really weak. Oh no, this is bad. He's really weak to Hua Cheng's aggressive and rebellious confidence. After a moment, Hua Cheng reports that Mu Qing and Feng Shen made it out, and White No-Face is a long distance away. They can hide and think of a battle plan now, but unexpectedly, the mood between them suddenly becomes awkward and shy. Xie Lian feels too embarrassed to say anything now and hopes that Hua Cheng will speak first. But Hua Cheng also looks strained and his hands are shaking slightly. Just then they pass a divine statue, and this one is made roughly and only half the size of the others.
When Xie Lian passes it, he casually removes the veil. His eyes light up and says, Sanlang, did you carve this one too? Hua Cheng is silent. After a moment, he says, it's work from beginner years. Good, don't look anymore. The statue is extremely ugly and disproportionate, with an awful-looking smile. But every detail of the god-pleasing crown prince statue is there, even the red coral pearl earrings. Xie Lian covers his mouth and rubs his face, trying not to laugh. Hua Cheng tries to cover the statue and says, Your Highness, please don't look anymore. But Xie Lian says quickly, Don't misunderstand. I really think it's very cute. But then Xie Lian realizes he inadvertently called himself cute by calling the statue cute, and he bursts out laughing. Qing starts to chuckle too. With them both laughing, the stiff mood goes away.
Oh my god, that's so cute. He's like, don't look at my sketchbook, my fan art from
really
DeviantArt 10 years ago. I know it's
so
really bad.
It's so ugly. Don't look at it. It's so embarrassing.
Oh my god, he's so cute.
I'm like trying not to laugh at him. Like, what the fuck?
That's so cute.
I love that they just throw these little moments in the middle of like a big action scene. Like,
this is great. This is great. Oh man. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, I'm like blushing for them.
I know. They're so fucking cute.
So cute.
Okay. I love it.
Xie Lian sees another statue, but this one is lounging on a stone bed and the entire body is covered with a white satin veil. Xie Lian curiously reaches out, but Watson seizes his wrist suddenly. Your Highness! Watson looks uncomfortable and Xie Lian asks, I already know it's a statue of me. Can I still not look? Watson replies, if Guga wants to look at statues, the best one I've sculpted still remains to be seen. I'll show you some other time. Don't look at the ones inside this cave anymore, okay? Xie Lian doesn't understand why. I think all the divine statues in this cave of 10,000 gods are all carved really well. Really, really well. I'll think it's a shame if I can't see them. Speaking of those murals... But unexpectedly, Watson instantly says, I'll go destroy them.
Oh my god. He's so embarrassed. He almost saw the porn. Oh my god, this is too fucking funny. This is the special cave. This cave is the special one.
It's so good. This is the horny cave. That's the masturbation cave, you guys.
So fucking stupid.
Woo.
Oh my god. Xie Lian quickly grabs Qing and says, Don't. Why destroy them? Just because I saw? Fine. I'll tell you the truth. I've only actually seen a little bit. Like the heavenly ceremonial procession, the army and the like. I haven't seen most of it because Feng and Mu Qing wouldn't let me. So I have absolutely no idea what you painted. Don't go and destroy them. Qing turns to face him. Really? Xie Lian says sincerely, Really? If you don't want me to look, then I won't. Qing sighs in relief and smiles. It's not anything good to look at anyway. If you want to see anything, just have me paint it directly. Xie Lian is even more curious now, but after taking a few steps, he suddenly frowns. Something's not right.
If Guga wants to see something, ask me to paint it directly. So if Guga has any fantasies...
Yes. Oh, I love how fucking embarrassed Qing is this entire time. Like, he was
I love it.
It was like when he first thought that Xie Lian saw it, he was like, fuck, everything's fucking ruined. And now that he realized he hasn't seen it, he's like, oh god, I have hope. He hasn't seen the most disgusting part of me yet.
He's seen my browser history.
Oh, I know. He knows what I'm into.
Oh my god, this is great. It's so great. Oh my god. Oh, it's the best chapter.
So funny. I love
so
it. My stomach hurts from laughing.
I know. My face hurts from laughing. This is so funny.
Yeah, it's so bad. Oh my god.
Oh. She's just so horny. Yeah. She's just so horny. I love it. I love it.
So many fucking stupid ass murals and statues.
And you know, okay, so for all of you who are just confused why they're not being explicit about this, is because of censorship, right? Like, this author had to censor everything she wrote, and this is a perfect example of like pure censorship. Like, you can't search for it, can't be Googled.
Like, from the conversation, you can definitely guess what kind of content like Qing made, but they're never gonna just straight out and say what it was. You just can only use your imagination because of all the censorship laws.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's okay. That's what fan art is for.
Mu Qing invention saying, "Oh, are we the third wheel?"
They are.
That's
why Xie Lian's like, get out of here.
Please get
go
out.
home.
I have to go look at more statues.
Yeah. So funny.
And yes, we come back to the masturbation cave and the extra chapters at the end of the book. It's a
gonna
very
be great.
sweet chapter. I wish it was hornier, but it's actually really fluffy.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. That's what the fan fiction is for. It's
Fan
good.
fiction. Fan fiction.
Yeah. Oh my god. There was like, I'll tell you later. There's
Okay,
this one
okay.
fanfic that will like, it lives in my head rent free because it was so bizarre.
Okay.
But, okay. I'll tell you
Dope,
later.
dope, dope. Yeah, just use your imagination, guys. Okay. Now we're moving on to the next chapter. Chapter 179. Xie Lian wonders why White No Face came to Mount Tonglu. If he needs to use the kiln to be reborn, does that mean he wasn't a supreme ghost in the first place? When they fought earlier, Xie Lian was too panicked to gauge his true strength and just ran away. Xie Lian says, I subconsciously thought he was stronger when I only saw those two fake skins. But maybe he hasn't completely recovered right now. And maybe he's currently at his weakest? Otherwise, why would he come to Mount Tonglu? Maybe I can give it a shot. Watson quickly says, Good, I'll go fight him. Xie Lian quickly replies, No, don't. Don't face him straight on. Just me giving it a shot is enough. Just me giving it a shot is enough.
Unlike heavenly officials, where everyone knows their true strengths and backgrounds and abilities, Supreme Ghost Kings keep that knowledge hidden and secret. No Ghost King have ever fought each other, preferring to keep things balanced instead. Who knows what will happen if two Supremes start fighting? Hua Cheng insists that he can win, but Xie Lian shakes his head and says, It's not that, Sanlang. We're not the same. He won't kill me. I can swear it. Hua Cheng asks why, but Xie Lian ignores the question and says instead, You don't know how terrifying that creature is. Hua Cheng cuts him off grimly and says, Your Highness, I know.
Xie Lian then remembers that Huatsun joined the Shenle army and had seen the plague and tragedy, but Huatsun had never seen the shocking battle between Junwu and White No Face up close, like Xie Lian had. He has never personally crossed paths with White No Face. Xie Lian shakes his head and says, It's not that I don't trust you, it's just, I don't want anything to happen to you. Huatsun's face softens. Good, don't worry. I'm already dead, so it won't be easy for me to die again. Besides, have you forgotten what I've told you before? As long as he doesn't find my ashes, he can do nothing to me. Xie Lian says quickly, Wait, Sanlang, are your ashes properly hidden?
Hua Cheng says that he hid his ashes a long time ago. Xie Lian says, Are you sure it's properly hidden? Place in the world. Xie Lian says again, You're absolutely sure? Hua Cheng smiles cheerfully and says, If its hiding place is destroyed, then there's no need for me to exist either. Of course I'm sure. Xie Lian drops the subject, in case there is someone spying on the conversation. But then he begins to wonder, just how did Hua Cheng die? When mortals die, their souls only remain if there's obsessive attachment. Most common cases are resentment or anger, and one would need a particularly strong obsession to become a ghost king.
Are we still live by any chance? Can you double check YouTube?
Yeah, let me refresh my... Yes.
Okay, good. I just got a notification that like OBS disconnected and then reconnected.
Oh no. Oh, okay.
So we're good.
I'm refreshing. I think it's a little behind, but it looks good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Xie Lian is worried about bringing up a touchy subject, so he doesn't ask, but he wonders how Huatsun endured for 800 years. Suddenly, Xie Lian thinks of something horrifying and he asks Huatsun, Sanlang, I have another question I want to ask you. In the past 800 years, other than having met me in Shenle, have you met me anywhere else at any point in time? Huatsun replies, Unfortunately, even though I've never given up and did my utmost to find you, I haven't. Why does Gugu ask? Xie Lian sighs in relief and says that his life the last few years had been muddled and a failure, so he didn't want Huatsun to have to see it. So he didn't want Huatsun to have seen it.
Oh, poor Xie Lian. Hua Cheng laughs and says, How could that be? Xie Lian says seriously, It's not a joke. I really was quite the failure. Hua Cheng says solemnly, That's okay too. Didn't your highness already say it yourself? To me, the one basking in infinite glory is you. The one fallen from grace is also you. What matters is you, and not the state of you. I feel the same way. Xie Lian is stunned and slaps his hand to cover his red face. Did I say that? Cheng smiles. Good, don't deny it. Xie Lian blocks his face with his arm and says, I don't think so. Cheng says, Good, do you want to watch it? I'll find it for you. Xie Lian's head shoots up. You? Did you? No way, Sonlong, did you record everything? Cheng says, I'm joking. Xie Lian replies, I honestly don't believe you. Cheng says, Good, trust me. And Xie Lian says, I don't trust you anymore.
Oh my god, he's like, I want to play it on replay. I've recorded it.
Like, I have a butterfly recorded. We can watch it anytime.
Videotapes. Oh my god.
Now fucking Luli watching records everything. Are you kidding me?
Absolutely.
It's a personal library.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also
Absolutely.
now where are the fan fictions in which the fucking Huaten is just like rewatching all of his tapes of Xie Lian and just like living through it over and over and over and over.
I don't know if you saw the fanfic of where they use the butterfly as like a voyeurism thing in bed. Okay, I have to find it. Like this is so long ago. This is one of the highest. If you go to Heaven's Official and like filter by explicit and highest rated kudos, you'll see it. Like it's right there. In the,
perfect.
Yeah, it's like right there.
I love it.
It's like get the butterflies. Like everything that watching has is a sex toy. Okay, the butterflies can record you. The fucking butterfly silk is like binding ropes. Like everything.
Yep.
Everything is a sex toy.
Yep. Yep. As they walk, Xie Lian observes Huaten. When Huaten isn't looking at him, his expression is cold and deadly. But when Xie Lian calls out Sanlang, Huaten turns to him with a smile, and he probably doesn't notice himself smiling. A clear voice in Xie Lian's heart tells him that this man really takes him for a god. Xie Lian clenches his fingers. Once we're out of Mount Tonglu, there are many things I want to tell you. Xie Lian then asks about White No-Face, but when Huaten tries to track him, he says that he disappeared into thin air. Xie Lian is shocked and says, Let me see, before gripping Huaten's shoulder and putting their foreheads together. After a small hesitation, Huaten lowers his hand to Xie Lian's waist, hugging him tighter.
Oh my god. Cheng's always been hesitant about touching Xie Lian, but now he's touching him. So good. Xie Lian sees a scene of White No-Face covered in a silver butterfly cocoon, but then there's an explosion and he disappears. Then Cheng's right eye sweeps across countless tunnels, but White No-Face is nowhere to be seen. Cheng says that perhaps his first objective is to regain his supreme status in the kiln. Xie Lian says that they must stop him. Their mission is to stop a supreme ghost king from being born, so now they can't keep running away. The two go through the caves, but all they see are countless statues and broken or dead butterflies on the ground. Xie Lian bends down to pick up a butterfly, when suddenly Cheng says in an angry voice, Gaga, come here by my side.
Huaten is looking at a divine statue that is covered head to toe with a white veil, but a sword is sticking out, and the sword is covered in blood. Xie Lian immediately moves back and draws Feng. Huaten waves his hand to remove the veil. Under the veil is a divine statue of Xie Lian, the god-pleasing crown prince statue with a sword in one hand and a flower in the other, smiling gently. Except there is blood on its face, dripping from the sword gripped in its hands. There is a blood pierced on the sword. His head is full of There is a body pierced on the sword. His head is full of bandages and blood covering his body. It's Lang Ying.
What is Lang Ying doing here?
Dun dun dun.
Oh my God.
Sweet little boy.
How did he end up pierced on a fucking statue?
What are you doing here,
no.
small boy, who is supposed to be watched by some adults?
Yes, absolutely.
And that is the end of book 3.
No, not yet. Sorry. It's going to be.
Bitch. What?
Sorry. 181 is the start of.
Oh, then we should keep going on 180. We should. I know this is gonna be a long episode.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah. because then that way next episode will be like, yeah, okay.
Then I might not have enough. I might not have enough written out for the next episode if we don't split it, because this is a pretty long, not long, longish. Let me think. Hold on. Let me scroll. Okay, actually, yeah, we should have enough.
We should have enough. When I scroll to that part of 181 and I'm looking at the doc, it's actually half over, so I think we'll be fine.
We're good.
Yeah. Let me go back to 180.
Tanguria says, "How did that boy get there?" Yes,
Very many
questions.
Where did this boy come from? Where did he come from?
Yeah, all of a sudden.
Yeah, very sussy for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so that brings us into chapter 180. From the sealed kiln, one supreme shall emerge. Hua Qing is furious that the holy statue is stained with blood. He says darkly, "Get the hell down." Lang Ying's head pops up and he pulls himself off the sword, dropping to the ground. It is actually White No-Face disguised as Lang Ying. But it's so accurate that this means that White No-Face has seen Lang Ying somewhere before. Xie Lian demands, "Where is the real Lang Ying?" Hua Qing says maybe there never was a real Lang Ying. Was White No-Face disguising himself as Lang Ying this entire time as he recovered? But then Xie Lian remembers that the little girl Xiao Ying who died and dismissed... But then Xie Lian remembers the little girl Xiao Ying who died and dismisses this theory. There is another possibility. Perhaps he devoured Lang Ying?
Lang Ying grows taller and the bandages unwrap, revealing his mask. He says, "You guessed right." After Junwu killed White No-Face, he clung on as a broken wisp of a soul in the mortal realm. He wandered for a long time until he found Lang Ying and somehow convinced him to let him hide in his body. Slowly, he recovered until he grew strong enough to devour Lang Ying and control him, just like how Blackwater devoured the Reverend of Empty Words to control him. Hudson asks why would Lang Ying agree to host White No-Face. White No-Face says warmly, "I can, of course, answer your question, but are you sure the one next to you would want me to say it here?"
Hua Qing looks at Xie Lian, but his face is strange and distracted. White No-Face continues, "Surname Long, Yong'An, the human face disease. Why did he agree to let me eat him? Can you not guess why?" Xie Lian goes pale and he slashes his sword saying, "Shut up!" White No-Face dodges and the attack breaks the statue's sword instead, causing the god-pleasing crown prince to wield a broken sword. White No-Face laughs and disappears into the darkness. Xie Lian stares at the statue and mutters, "I'm sorry." Hua Qing says, "Gege, don't be silly. Why apologize to me?" He's gone. Now what? Xie Lian pulls himself together and says, "Did he flee? We can't let him enter the kiln."
They leave the cave and back to the surface of the snowy mountain, but the mountain shakes, causing more avalanches. Watson holds Xie Lian's hand firmly, and they go up against the crashing currents of snow and ice. Finally, they reach the peak, where there are thick layers of ice and the mouth of the volcano. Watson says that White No-Face has already gone inside because the kiln is starting to close. Xie Lian is surprised because usually the kiln waits for several ghosts to enter before it closes, but there's only one in there now. Watson says that if the ghost is strong enough, they can request the kiln to close early, especially if they have a high potential of becoming a supreme. Watson himself did that when he entered.
So we learned that Hua Qing entered the kiln alone when he was going through the Mount Tonglu trials. Interesting. Xie Lian doesn't know if White No-Face is actually a supreme or not. What happens when a supreme ghost goes into the kiln twice? Hua Qing says it's the same as a heavenly official going through another heavenly calamity. They become much stronger. Xie Lian is filled with worry as he looks down the mouth of the volcano, and then says that he must go down. Hua Qing says quietly that he will come too. When Xie Lian looks at him, Hua Qing smirks and says confidently, "It's just going down to kill an eyesore and breaking through the kiln again. That's all. It's not like it's anything hard." Seeing him so relaxed, Xie Lian calms down too and smiles.
An instant later, Huatsun says, however, there is one thing. With that, Huatson's arm snakes around Xie Lian's waist and a hand lifts his chin gently. Then his lips are enveloped. They kiss for a long time, and when they finally part, Xie Lian says, flustered, oh, what's this all of a sudden? Though they've kissed before, it was for reasons like exchanging spiritual power or transferring air or just by accident. Now that they know their true feelings, these reasons seem weak and the actions more significant. Huatsun whispers into his ear, I'll lend a bit of spiritual power to your highness in case of emergencies. Will you accept it?
Oh my god, watching it so suave.
So
oh
smooth.
My god.
So smooth.
So good.
Oh my god.
So good.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh my god. I am seduced. I am totally seduced.
And the fucking his confident like it's not a big deal. I'm just gonna kill a supreme ghost and come out again. No big like whatever. Yeah. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
At the past hour of things that have happened, it's like, you've discovered my porn collection. My porn collection is about you. I've stalked you forever. Anyway, look how strong I am. Also, look how cool I am. And look at all these videotapes I've recorded of you. But anyway, you want to make out?
And it's like, I love how it's canon that Xie Lian loves how fucking confident and cocky Hua Cheng is. Like, that's just his kink. Like, that's he loves it. It's so funny. Oh my god.
Don't use these methods to seduce somebody. Everything I mentioned
don't
just
stalk
so
them
gross.
for 800 years and draw creepy fan art of them. Like, don't do that.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Xie Lian stutters. This is a bit? It seems too much. I haven't paid you back for all the times before. Hua Cheng replies, it's not much. There's no rush. Take your time to pay back. The account will clear one day. Xie Lian is flustered and starts to run, but Hua Cheng says, Your Highness, where are you running to? You're going in the wrong direction. Xie Lian says, No, I'm just a little cold. Thought I'd jog around a bit. Warm up. He puts his hat on, takes it off, puts it on, then holds Hua Cheng's hand tightly. Hua Cheng says casually, After this is all resolved, I'll show Guga my proudest sculpted statue. Xie Lian says, okay. And then they jump down the volcano together.
Oh, they jump down in there together. Oh my god. So romantic, so romantic.
Only to fight like the biggest monster ever, but okay, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm just imagining Xie Lian like with his hat, he's like boner growing in his pants. He's like, I don't know what to do about this. Oh my god, just freaking out. Then he holds his hand.
Like, remember, like every single time Xie Lian, like Hua Cheng has kissed Xie Lian, he like grows red. He forgets how to talk. He forgets how to act like a normal human being. He's literally running down the mountain instead of going into it. He takes off his hat, puts it on, takes it off. He like doesn't know what to do with his hands. Like he's so embarrassed.
It's so great. It's so cute.
So cute.
They fall a long way down, but halfway through, Huatson's hand suddenly disappears out of Xie Lian's grip. Huatson doesn't let go. He just disappeared. When Xie Lian lands on the ground, he calls out, Salang, but there's no answer. When he looks up, he sees that the mouth of the volcano is slowly closing. Xie Lian lights a palm flame. Words. Xie Lian lights a palm. Oh my god, brain. Use your brain.
Okay.
I know. Brain working on double time sometimes when words like that come together because it's like almost rhyming. It like messes me up. Yeah. Xie Lian lights a palm flame and he sees a white figure nearby. It's White No Face. Xie Lian calls out for Huatsun, worried, but White No Face says, no need to yell anymore. The kiln is now sealed shut. There is now only you and me in here. No third person. Xie Lian looks up again, and sure enough, the volcano is now completely sealed.
Where did Hua Cheng go?
Where'd he go? Why did he disappear?
Why did this happen? Why just two of them in the kiln? Xie Lian points Feng and says, What is going on here? Are you muddling again? Where is he? Where is he right now? White No Face casually grabs the edge of the sword and says, He's gone. Xie Lian says coldly, Explain yourself clearly. What do you mean gone? White No-Face says, he doesn't want to follow you anymore. He left. Dead. What do you think? Xie Lian strikes with rage. Stop your nonsense! But White No-Face catches the sword again. Fine, fine. I was talking nonsense. Don't worry, I already sent him outside the kiln. So even if he wants to rush over now, it'd be too late. Xie Lian sighs in relief hearing that Hua Qing is out and safe.
White No-Face then says, but it's probably for the best that he doesn't come in. Otherwise, even if he doesn't think so now, later when he sees the state of you, who knows if he'll still want to be with you? Xie Lian swings again. Shut up! I've had enough of you. What do you want? Just what do you want? How long are you going to keep clinging to me? Why haven't you died? Why did you come to the kiln? White No-Face laughs. Because of you. Because you've come. So I've come too. Xie Lian's face twists and he strikes again. But no matter how much he strikes, White No-Face easily predicts his moves and dodges.
Xie Lian is like a master swordsman, and White No-Face is like deflecting all of his attacks so easily. It's not good. Xie Lian finally realizes he can't win. It's like White No-Face can read his mind, and he says, "That's right, you can't win." Then a blade pierces Xie Lian's wrist, and he drops his sword. The next second, Xie Lian's hair is grabbed, and he's bashed into the ground so hard his head rings, and his mouth fills with blood. White No-Face pulls his head up and says, "So sad, so pitiful. Every time I see your highness, you always look like this. Makes one ache, makes one excited." Xie Lian swallows his blood, refusing to cough it out, and says, "Don't be so pleased. I might not be able to win against you right now, but someone can. Even if you can emerge from the kiln, Junwu can very well kill you again."
But then White No-Face surprises him by saying, "Who says the one who will emerge from the kiln will be me? Your Highness, I think you might have misunderstood. There certainly will be a supreme who will emerge from this kiln, but it won't be me. It'll be you." Xie Lian's whole body goes cold from shock. "What did you say? I'm not..." White No-Face says, "That's right. That's exactly it. Congratulations. You've finally understood my real objective. Isn't this your favorite third path? There is one ghost and one god inside the kiln, so there should be two paths. 1, the ghost kills the god and emerges from the kiln. 2, they are trapped in the kiln forever. Xie Lian is too weak to kill him."
But there's actually a third path. If Xie Lian kills himself, he can become a ghost and kill White No-Face. Then he will become a supreme and emerge from the kiln. Xie Lian says angrily, "Don't even think about it. Are you crazy? Just what do you want? Why must you do this? Have me become a supreme? I'm not as crazy as you. Even if you want me to kill you, the kiln won't recognize such a supreme." But then, White No-Face pulls out a mask and says, "Really? Don't be so sure. Do you remember this cry-smiling mask? It suits you." Xie Lian feels terror like a tide of insects, and he says weakly, "Take it away. Take it away. Take it away!" White No-Face laughs and says, "It seems your highness's memory isn't that great. If that's the case, let me help you remember, hmm?" Then he presses the mask onto Xie Lian's face. End of book 3!
End of book 3! End of book 3! Fuck!
So we're leaving it as a cliffhanger here. And we're not going to get back for a whole mini chapter, so don't forget what happened. Right now, Xie Lian and White No-Face are stuck inside this volcano in Mount Tonglu, and only one of them can emerge.
It's such a great reveal that the only way Xie Lian can get out is if he becomes a ghost and he becomes his own supreme.
Yeah, he
so
becomes
fucked up.
the Ghost King. It's fucked. Everything is fucked. And he's like traumatized. Like fucking oh, you'll see why he's traumatized with this mask in this next book. In book 4.
My
book 4
God.
titled White Clothed Calamity.
Yep.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
So
it's so
freaking good, you guys. Ah! Oh my God. This chapter went from, oh my God, horny to, oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no.
Like we had the confession and like the worst nightmare and trauma in like one chapter. Like it's crazy.
We're
not good.
fucked, you guys.
Ugh.
Sheesh, man. Sheesh.
Yeah.
If this doesn't convince you to actually read the book, I don't know what will.
I know, it's so good. Like the tension and the drama and like the PTSD that Xie Lian experiences is like it's so well written. Like you guys, I am like not even there's like nothing compared to reading the book itself. Like it's such a good experience, special experience.
Yeah.
I highly urge everyone, if you guys have not read the book already, please read the book.
Please
read the writing. It's
go
so
purchase
well
the book. It is available on Amazon. It's made by Seven Seas Entertainment. It's at Barnes and Nobles. Dude, it's at Kinokuniya. Like they really do be
it's at all the bookstores.
Oh yeah,
it's at probably at a library. If you want to rent it from your library, go look in your local library.
Go get it. I'm looking at them all right now in front of me. I'm like so happy I have these books.
Yeah, and seriously, the way that she writes these characters are so alive. Like they feel so real. Like even though they're fantastical people, like you can relate to. Like you've seen people who are like Xie Lian, who are like embarrassed but humble, but a little bit, like. You've seen these people before. Like they feel like real people.
Yeah. Her writing definitely got better over time, because if you think about like there's this thing called hyper characterization, and it's when a character just kind of sticks to their core values and it's very simple. It's kind of like just very extreme versions of people.
It's like when you watch a sitcom or a TV show that's gone on for too long and every single character has like the one shtick. It's like that. It's just like Homer Simpson, always a dumbass. Like that's his whole personality. He has no other facet of his personality.
Exactly. And so if you read her first books, it kind of sticks to that idea. And then slowly over time, you realize her characters get way more complex because her writing becomes more complex. She becomes like an older person and like experiences the world and gets better at writing.
Yeah. She's literally done travel and research in order to write her novels. So like she doesn't just write like out of her ass. Like she interviews people. She travels around the country, like she experiences different like she goes to different temples and like experiences them and like gets different people's perspectives to like write these characters. And I really can't wait for us to get to Modazushi because those characters are so complicated. Like they all have so complicated.
I know, I love it so much. It's so great. I can't believe we're only on book 3. We've been recording this podcast for a very long time.
I love it. It's oh my god. It's like this it has to be at the pace because I feel like if we rush through it,
I agree.
Like we would miss all the nuance of like all the characters' personalities.
Yeah.
And everything. And I love I sometimes I like try to like, rush through scenes that are kind of like they're not fluff, but they don't necessarily have to be all drawn out the way that it is. But there are some scenes that she sticks in here, just like, for example, like Xie Lian finding the embarrassing fucking statue of Huacheng's first time making a statue. Like, those scenes are they're just so randomly sprinkled in. They're just so, like, random slice of life in the middle of, like, all this plot. Like, I just can't not add that. Like, we have to talk about them. They're so good.
Yes. And I would love to hear also from you guys who've read the books and is listening to our podcast, any kind of like things that you feel like we are missing out on or spending too much time on, things that we can add in, because we want to make sure whoever's listening to this podcast really wants to jump into the genre, jump into the books.
Yes. We want this to be like a good companion piece. To you actually reading the book.
Yes. 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 One of us, please.
Yes. Okay.
All right, let's take a look at our off topics today. I have not chosen one. I was actually browsing my entire thing to look for one to talk about. So
I have one that I would like to talk about.
Yes, go for it.
I'm gonna post the title of it here before I forget. Okay, so mine is kind of like a two-parter because the off-topic that I'm talking about is a sequel to another fic that this person wrote. The author is Ilip. The first fanfic that she wrote is called I'll Meet You Coming Backwards, and the second one that she wrote is Time After Time. And so I'm very briefly talk about the first one first because I don't think I've ever talked about it. But okay, so the first one is I'll Meet You Coming Backwards, and it is a time travel fanfic in that Lanjan is a time traveler. He's like his mother used to be a time traveler, and he inherited this ability from her. It's modern times, and he goes for like he's lived up to this life like randomly finding himself like teleported into the future or into the past like as he's growing up, but he's never like gone to a time that's past like his 33rd birthday or something like that. So all of a sudden, on his 33rd birthday, he's going to bed alone because he just had like a quiet birthday where like nothing, because his life is pretty boring up to this point. And it's his birthday, so he's just going to bed alone, and he wakes up and he's in his bed, except there's a stranger in his bed with him, and his room doesn't look like his room, and everything is strange. It turns out that he's teleported himself 1 year into the future where he and Wei Ying are married, and Wei Ying is in the bed with him, and Lanjan's like, I don't, who are you? And Wei Ying is fucking naked right now, first of all, and Wei Ying is like, I'm your husband, did you forget? And Lanjan's like, I'm sorry, I'm what? And then Wei Ying is like, oh my god, my husband has amnesia, are you okay, like what's going on? And then like he's like fucking with him because like obviously Wei Ying knows that Lanjan is a time traveler because they got married.
Oh my god.
And he knows that this scene was going to happen. He knows that a year from now Lanjan's gonna show up in Wei Ying's bed like from the past, like not knowing what's going on, and Wei Ying uses this opportunity to like fuck with him and like pretend like he doesn't know what's going on. Of course he does. Yes,
of course
actually,
he fucking does.
Knows like everything, and he's like waiting for this fucking time, and he's like, it's your birthday, it's time for birthday blowjobs, and he's just like, but like Lanjan's like, no, I don't know you, you're a stranger, but like, and he's like freaking out, and eventually Wang's like, I'm just joking with you, like I'm gonna put some clothes on, like I know you're from the past, like you have no idea what's going on, I don't want to freak you out, I just thought it'd be fun to do this.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and like Lanjan is like, okay, and so they spend the day together for his birthday, and like at first Lanjan is like completely wary of Wei. He's like, I can't fucking believe my future self is married to this fucking crazy person. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like he's like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I don't believe this is real. But then the more he spends time with him, he falls in love with him, and he realizes like how good of a person Wei Ying is, and like how much he cares for him. And just in like 24 hours, he already like falls in love with him, which is really beautiful. And it like, I don't want to say too much of the rest of the fic because it's really, really well written, and it's really, really funny, and it's kind of sad and melancholy because Lanjan has been alone all of his life. He's always thought he's had no future, but then he realizes like, oh my god, in a year I'm gonna meet my husband, and I'm gonna be in love, and I'm gonna have a home, and we're gonna have a son, and like this my whole future is now bright, and like I have something I can look forward to. So it's this really beautiful story about him like just time traveling throughout time and like life, and like him experiencing his life and his happiness out of order, and yet it still all makes sense to him. And because like Wei Ying tells him stories about like stuff that's happened before in the past, like how Wei Ying has experienced Lanjan, his future self, his past self. And like, because Wei Ying is in the normal timeline, and Lanjan's the one skipping back and forth. It's like that movie Time Traveler's Wife, or something like, I think that's what it was called. But it's similar to that, except it's a little bit different. And like, Wei Ying has experienced Lanjan in so many different forms, and he still loves him every single time, no matter what era of Lanjan that he is. And it's really, and there's also this like really beautiful scene of when Lanjan's mother passed away, but she was also a time traveler. And they talk about their wedding and what was it like. And Wei Ying says that his mother came because he traveled from the past to the future to see her son get married before she left the world. And it's just really beautiful. And then she wrote the sequel, and that just became smut. Like that's a smut. It was a really smutty scene because it was Lanjan gets into a fight with Wei Ying, and then he suddenly teleports into the future, except it's a future where the current Lanjan is there too, and he feels really guilty because he and Wei got into a fight, but Wang remembers the fight because he's from the future. He says, "I forgive you," and they have like a deep conversation, and then they have a threesome. So like, if you want like, if you, and it's really it's really great. So like, if you want a little bit of like, you know, angst and love and beautiful like just a story about just it's just a beautiful love story, and then like a little bit of smut afterwards for the sequel. Like this is just a perfect fanfic. Like it's a really perfect fic, and it's perfectly in time because it's Lan Zhan's birthday like 3 days ago. So it was like a birthday fic for Lan Zhan.
Oh my god. Okay,
So
yes. I can't wait to read that.
So cute.
Yay.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like I can't stop like thinking about it because I just it was really good.
There was something I found on Twitter that was the Japanese voice actors wishing it was like it was Japanese voice actor wishing Lan Zhan his birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, it was really, really cute.
It
was so cute. So cute. Okay, so my one, it's a manhwa, and I hope I do it justice because it's been a while since I read it. I did read it earlier last year though, so hopefully it's fresh in my mind. It's called December Rain, and it's very angsty. It's also kind of smutty, but we're gonna just focus on the angst part because December Rain is about a guy who decides to like run away to the like countryside, and he doesn't like have anyone. He doesn't like have a family or anything, so he just like goes to the countryside to just like find work, find somewhere to live, and just like restart his life. And his like visual, like what he looks like, he has a buzz cut, which is very like that's not normal for a guy in a BL.
Did he like just get out of the army or something? Or?
I'm not really sure. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, he's just like abandons like the city to go and live in the countryside, and he bumps into like an old lady living in the village who like has amnesia, and she thinks that he's her grandson, and so she's like invites him in, and he's all like, I'm not your grandson, and she's like, yes, but I need help right now, like grandson, come inside. And so he just ends up living with her and being taken care of by this like old lady. He lives in the spare bedroom because there's really nothing else he needs to do, right? But in the meantime, he also like sees this like weird guy making fapping noises in like a park bathroom. He's like,
just in public?
Yep. He's here. He is like the first scene that happens actually, even before he even meets the old lady.
Fine. Okay, cool.
So that just sets up like the weird situation with this. So eventually you kind of find out why he like ran away, I think, and it's like something bad had happened in the city, and that's why he like is now run away to the countryside. I think he might be in trouble for some reason. And so he hangs out with the old lady. He's like taking care of the old lady, and he bumps into this guy who has like brown hair. Eventually you realize that guy with the brown hair is the same guy that was fapping in the bathroom.
Okay.
And
is he just like a weird deviant? Like he just a pervert who likes to like do things in public?
You slowly realize that guy who was in the bathroom like is wearing like eventually he's wearing the same clothes. Eventually his clothes get dirty, and he like is always like eating trash, and you realize like this guy's homeless, like recently homeless, and he's very young. And you find there's this wanted poster. It says murder suspect, and it's a picture of the bathroom guy, the homeless guy. Yeah. And our main character ends up like befriending this guy, and they hang out a bunch, they talk a bunch, to the point where he even invites him over and ends up like living with him inside of this old lady's house. And this old lady is just super happy, has amnesia, is super senile, and just loves that there's these two helpful boys like helping her out because she's super old. She's like 80 something plus, right? And our main character like is helping this homeless guy out, and they eventually like fall in love, and like all of their encounters with each other, like the sexual encounters, are kind of really like awkward and definitely not romantic, and more in the vein of that like these two unfortunate young guys in a bad situation,
comforting each other because they have really shitty lives.
It's but it is definitely very spicy, and it's one of those angsty stories because you get the sense that
sounds angsty.
You get the sense that no matter what, everything's going to end badly for them, because like our love interest boy is a murder suspect.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, things are gonna end badly for them. I'm pretty sure I got really close to the end. I don't think I finished it, but it's definitely a lot of like suspense and angst as you're going throughout, and you just want them to be happy, but you know they can't.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That's so sad. I hope
And-
it ends up good for them.
Yeah, it's told, the storytelling is feels more like an indie manhwa rather than like a like stereotypical like popular manhwa. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
recommending it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm down. It feels kind of melancholy and like thoughtful.
Yeah, it's called December Rain.
I feel like I've heard of it actually.
It's one of the popular ones. I
there
think.
you go.
Let me actually check out what the rating is. In terms of like fan rating, it is 9.5.
Oh yeah, it's pretty high then.
Very popular.
So definitely I've heard it from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the portion of our podcast where we read Patreon comments.
Yeah, Patreon comments.
Thank you everyone who supports our Patreon. Let's see who left comments since our last stream. And it's George post a comment on episode 33. He says, Guga and I will be in Japan mid-March, and we're planning on getting caught up with the Bottom Show episodes on the flight over. Got any recommended BL spot cafes to check out? Happy Lunar New Year!
Ooh,
That's
have you guys gone to have you seen the Butler Cafe?
Yeah, well, there's a Swallowtail Butler Cafe.
That's what it was called, Swallowtail.
I'm gonna try and get a booking, but I think the booking is 10 days in advance. So I'm gonna wait until 10 days in advance, and then I'm gonna book it. But I mean, when I say I'm gonna book it, I'm gonna get my friend to book it for me.
Yeah, I'm going to Japan like in May. So if I'll just jot down places you go that are interesting, and I'll go them myself later.
Yeah.
Although I already started building my itinerary. I'll just have to like add to it if I see anything I've missed that you go to that you can get your hands on.
Yeah. Dope. And then that seems to be, I think that's the only comment. So guys, please.
In our email.
Let me see. Nope, that was the only one. The other one was George telling me that I uploaded the wrong episode to a thing, so I just fixed.
Okay, that must be what I saw.
That.
Okay, I saw a few emails.
Okay, cool. There is a really, really heartfelt message. I'm gonna summarize it because I don't, just in case the person doesn't want us to like because it's a private message. They had just listened to episode 11 and how we had been talking about like autism characterization and neurodivergent folks in a lot of BL, and it kind of opened their eyes. They realized in that moment why they were drawn to BL, and it's because they related to a lot of these characters who were had neurodivergent tendencies, and it just like opened up like the world to them, and they realized a lot of things about themselves, and they're like, oh wow, that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. And it like clicked for them, you know.
It's so funny because the other off topic that I was thinking about talking about was this other fanfic where Lanjan is like full on autistic in the like in the fic, and it focuses on his autism and it's written from his perspective, so you can hear his like thought processes and actually I'll probably talk about this for the next episode's off topic, but after reading that, I realized that my thought processes are very similar to this person's thought processes, which made me take a test. So I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go talk to somebody.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you'd be surprised just how many, I mean, what I'm hoping will happen is that in the next few years there's going to be so much more research into neurodivergency, and we'll have a new category to put people in, because right now the spectrum is extremely vast and there is no good way to like compare different symptoms with other people, because like not everyone with autism have the same symptoms, and there's also high functioning versus like not high functioning, and it's very confusing, and there needs to be a better way to explain.
And people kind of lump everyone into like these big buckets, which may not be so accurate. Like there are way more specific ways to, you know, classify people, I guess. Not, well, classify isn't the right word, but like to just help you like label yourself so you know how to handle yourself and your experience with the world.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, there's only so many like labels that people give
it's very
it's very limited.
It's crazy how little labels there are. There's not a lot, and it would be nice if people just developed more research for it.
Yeah, so that there's more broad ways of explaining different aspects of people's personalities and the way their brain works, and it's like, cool.
Yeah, and then we'll discover that most people are neurodivergent or something. We just have a better way of understanding how to interact with each other instead of being like, oh my god, that guy is so weird. Like, I hate that. I hate that.
Or you're just like, why do I do the things that I do? You know.
Agreed.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, great, awesome.
And then we like to talk about our tier 3 patrons, which are our Citoyens every week. And we actually got a new Citoyen this week.
Oh my goodness, that's so awesome.
So if you go over to...
We only shout out our tier 3s. So that's what they get, their special thing.
And then if you go over... Do you see the list now? I put it up in the...
Okay,
there you go. All right.
So thank you so much, Kate Payne.
Thank you, Kita.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, FazeBoy23.
I love that name. There's a lot of eyes in that name. That's why it's really cute. And thank you so much, George. And those are our tier 3.
You guys seriously support us a lot. And as many episodes as we put out, we still haven't figured out exactly what other cool things to give for the tier 3. So for now, I hope you're satisfied with your care.
Yes. I'm gonna shout out. Woo! Shout them out.
Yeah.
We love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you follow us on Twitter as well as YouTube. And of course, support us on Patreon if you haven't already.
And as Hua Qing said, to me, the one basking in infinite glory is you. The one fallen from grace is also you. What matters is you and not the state of you. I love that line so much.
Bye.
So good. Bye, guys.
And that's the end of that episode. I will stop the recording. We are not done streaming though. So
Not
for Yeehaw, welcome. We are not done streaming.
We're doing... Do you want to... I have to write the recap really fast.
Go ahead. And and I will start the new Zencaster episode, which I'll send you a link for.
Great, okay.
Okay, so let me type in.
Do we want to do the bottom of the shows together? Like just do one big bottom of the show? Or how do you want to do it?
Together, but after we finish our live stream. We did this before once where we had 2 live streams and then 2 bottom shows after the fact. Yep.
I remember.
I like that Zencaster allows me to like go back to an episode. Okay,
that's good.
BLHQ 37, I believe. Right? Okay, episode 37. And create that. And I will send you the link for that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing 2 episodes today, you guys, because like I said, Jenny and I are going to be doing our ski trip next week, and then after that I'm going to be in Japan for like 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks, but it's going to land on a weird day when I get back that I think I'm going to miss the recording. I don't know, we'll see. I haven't written down the calendar. It's fine. But my job tonight is to make sure that I finish editing episode 35 and have that scheduled. And then if I have enough time, then I'll also do episode 36 tonight. Well, I'll just try and like sit in front of my computer for like the next few hours and just edit everything I can. And then that way, once the next week rolls around, I won't have that much work to do. The ski trip's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be taking a ton of content while we're there. And hopefully Jenny and I will also record an extra podcast. It won't actually be a Heaven Official Blessing deep dive episode. It will be like just us being chillin' over in our ski lounge, like talking about other things that we've read. I'm hoping to spend a lot of our time next week relaxing and getting back into some like reading that I've been missing out on. I'll probably bring a book or 2 with me. I'm really going to try my best not to work next week. I'm just going to do photo shoots and baking. But otherwise, that's it. It's just going to lounge, look at the snow outside, Yeah, we are staying in a bunch of ski Airbnbs that we had booked with like a huge group of friends. It's gonna be really fun. I'm so excited, and I've already picked out all the things I'm going to bake. I can tell you right now what I picked.
Okay, it's a really long recap because a lot of things happened. It was
That's
a long episode.
Dope. Dope. Let's see. What am I gonna bake?
Okay, I made a new doc for episode 37.
Perfect. And I sent you the link, so if you want to drop into that right now, I'll exit this one.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. And she's about to join. Yeah, I'm gonna be baking the strawberry cupcakes, cream puffs.
I closed the video tab.
The video tab. Oh my god.
You closed it. I have to.
Here we go. Oh wait, if you click on the link again, will it work?
I am. Yes, the same link works. Let me go in. Let me click no audio. Okay. Hello. I'm in here. I do not see. Oh, I see you. Okay, cool. We good.
Okay. Let me just fix this real quick. Boop.
Let me make sure this chapter 36 stock is good to go before I close out of it.
I'm gonna open chapter 37.
Have like no images for this doc because it's just all in the cave.
Oh yeah. Do you know if anyone's drawn the? Well, whatever. It doesn't matter.
I looked for fan art of the murals and the statues, but actually there's none.
Huh.
Couldn't find any unless I'm like looking in the wrong places. But
well,
it's not. Yeah, I saw a lot of fanfics, not a lot of art.
Interesting. People just have to be okay with the fact that we're not going to be able to be putting fan art in there or like content in there because like we've gotten into the part where we're past all of the we're past everything.
We're past anything that has illustrations official. So like it's all your imaginations now.
Also, Jenny, I would love if you could request from me something to bake if you'd like for the ski trip.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I was actually craving almond cookies.
Almond cookies? What kind of almond cookies?
I don't know. There's like soft almond cookies that I ate before. I wouldn't know what it's actually called.
There's like I know that there's many cultures that make almond cookies, so I kind of I guess I just like don't know. Figure out which type it is.
What fucking culture did I eat?
Yeah, Chinese people make almond cookies. Moroccan for sure, off the top of my head. Those are two.
It was an Asian almond cookie that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But they're like they're round and they're kind of poofy.
Poofy.
They're not like thin and crispy.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So
they're more soft and
let's see. Soft.
If you want to make Chinese almond cookies, I'm okay with that too.
Let me see if this is what you're talking about. I'm gonna forward this image to you.
Link? Okay.
Why not? Copy and paste.
You guys like almond cookies too? Yeah. You're allergic to almonds? I'm sorry.
Ooh, that's rough. Legumes.
This looks great.
Have you ever been to Epcot and gone to the Moroccan bakery there?
Yes. Oh, yes. I also ate at the restaurant there. Oh, so good.
The Moroccan cookies there are the best cookies I've ever had, and I need them. They're so good. I was dying, but I don't know where to get the recipe. They're so good. I'll have to figure it out. Where to get.
They have to have like a Disney
Epcot
hacks, Disney hack recipes. You know,
Morocco cookies. Like, I want them so badly. They were so good. Okay, I have the names. Oh my god. Oh, thank God. I have the names. Hold on, I'm gonna send you this picture, and then yeah. Oh my god, like
I just thought almond cookies in my mouth.
I want to figure out where I can get these. Oh my fucking god, every single one of those cookies were amazing. So I'm gonna try and like pull these to figure out like how to bake them.
Oh, that looks so good. Yes, the little flaky thing on the left. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, that looks so good.
Okay, yeah, I'll make those.
Pistachio. Oh my god, I love that shit.
I'm hungry.
Okay, so now I gotta go find a bakery near me so I can relieve this craving.
No, wait for me to bake them for you.
I'll wait till next week.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm also gonna make a tweet. I can't believe we're already on episode 37.
37. We're already on book
podcast.
4.
Book.
That's
4
wild. That's
of
wild.
Heaven officials blessing.
Kate says the mural is too holy. There's no fan art. Facts.
Aww.
It's too beautiful to be seen by human eyes.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, tweeting that. I'm just so proud of us. We worked so hard on this podcast.
I know. It's crazy. We're doing so good. I'm just, pat on the back.
Doing so good. So good. Okay. Let's press the record button and make sure that we don't fuck up like, previously.
Yes.
Also, if anyone in chat has been listening to our podcast on Patreon, go leave a comment right now so I have something to talk about. go
just
write
random anything. Say anything.
Say anything. Just go find a bottom show, fucking write something smutty. Go over there and so I can read it.
Yeah, we need some new comment content.
Yes. For right now.
Yeah, we need help. We're asking you for assistance.
We're basically just fishing for content right now.
Okay.
I'm glad Tangurius believes that this is the best podcast ever. Thank you.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you.
Tell your friends. Tell your friends.
Mm-hmm. Actually, Tangurius' aunt is also a Heaven's Official Blessing fan. So.
Woo!
Yeah.
Hooray! I actually recently joined a Discord server of Danmei fans, but I haven't had time to chat in it. I did leave I put in there that here's our podcast.
We have a podcast and stuff. So it's cool. Check it out.
Tee. Yeah, I'll those people are feral. They're great. They're hilarious. I love everyone in this Discord. Yeah.
They're for us. We are the same.
Yes, gremlins. Okay, all right, let's get started with the podcast. Welcome to BLHQ. I'm Stella Chu.
And I'm Jenny Belly.
This is our weekly podcast breaking down the Danmei web novel, Heaven Official's Blessing, written by MXTX. We deep dive a few chapters at a time and discuss themes, cultural backgrounds, and our overall reactions. Spoilers abound and screaming will be had, so you have been warned.
In a recap of last week's episode, Xie Lian and White are attacked by White No-Face, but run away when they realize they can't win. They free Mu Qing and Feng so that the two of them can escape and report the situation back to Heaven. Xie Lian and White chase after White No-Face and find out that he has devoured the bandage ghost Lang Ying, who was a Yong'An citizen. White No-Face escapes to the volcano kiln on Mount Tonglu, and Xie Lian and White chase after him to prevent him from emerging as a more powerful supreme ghost. But when they jump inside, Xie Lian and White No-Face are the only ones inside the kiln. White No-Face's true plan is revealed, which is to transform Xie Lian into a supreme ghost king. Cliffhanger into book 4, which is now a flashback.
And also, not to mention that they officially confessed to each other.
Amongst all the shit that's happened, they also confessed their feelings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, by not actually saying I love you, but more
they
roundabout ways. Yeah.
They hugged and they knew. It was just so touching. Oh. The connection is so great. Yeah.
Now we are on book 4, White Cloth Calamity, which is going to be different from the American translation because in the American translation, we're already on book 5 and we're not even on book 6 yet, which is, so I'm predicting book 7 is going to be book 4.
The flashback stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here we are on chapter 181, Lantern Night, Penny for a Wandering Soul. This is a flashback which follows immediately after the end of book 2.
Hold on, let me just do a really quick recap of book 2. Literally, Yong'An won the civil war against Xie Lian, so all of the royal family and royal nobles of Shanle had to flee the city, and so they're all on the run, and Yong'An the Yong'An royal family has taken over the capital, and they are constantly searching for escaped Shanle royals. So Xie Lian and his entire family is on the run.
Xie Lian jolts awake in horror from a nightmare. In the dream, his parents hung themselves, but when he saw it, he felt no joy or grief, and he only woodenly prepared himself a white silk band to hang himself to. Just as he placed his head within the loop, he saw White No-Face from below and he jerked, tightening the noose and suffocating. When he wakes up, he is currently laying on a sheet of straw on the floor. Having only ever slept on soft beds, this crude bedding is incredibly uncomfortable. Fenshin calls out for him from outside to eat breakfast, and Xie Lian gets up, still feeling shaken. He clutches his throat as if still feeling the silk white band, but instead he only feels the cursed shackle around his throat.
Oh, hold on, I forgot an acronym.
You guys, despair. Get ready for despair.
It's not gonna be great. We're literally starting the scene with like a hanging, so
I am so not ready for this. Holy fuck. Okay.
When Jin Woo created the cursed shackle around his neck, he showed some mercy. It locks away his spiritual powers, but it also stops him from aging or dying. Jin Woo also promised that if Xie Lian ever ascended again, everything would be forgiven and the shackle would be removed. But the shackle is still a shameful brand, so Xie Lian pulls out a white silk band to cover his neck and bottom half of his face. Feng Xin and Mu Qing are already outside eating steamed buns for breakfast. Feng Xin passes two to Xie Lian, but when Xie Lian sees the dry-looking buns, he loses his appetite and refuses to eat. Feng Xin tells him he needs to eat, since they need to go to work and he needs the energy. Mu Qing says sarcastically that they wouldn't want him to faint again.
Xie Lian is so used to not eating after being a god for so many years. Let me try again. Xie Lian was so used to not eating after being a god for several years. After he was banished, he fainted because he forgot to eat for days. Xie Lian says that they should just go. Who knows if they'll even find any work today. He was born a prince and became a god, never having to worry about making a living before. Now he has to find manual labor jobs each day to survive. Not to mention, after the war, there are much more impoverished people competing to find jobs, accepting half a bowl of rice as payment. Xie Lian doesn't have the heart to take work from others, and so they find nothing. He also can't show his face because the people all hate him, so there are no proper jobs to apply for.
Xie Lian tries to stay optimistic. Though this is the first time he's felt hunger, won't experiencing starvation help him better understand the feelings of a starving worshiper? He can only take this experience as a form of training. As they walk, they hear the sounds of drums and cheers on some street buskers. Mu Qing suggests that they busk too, but Feng Xin says, "What foolishness are you sprouting? His Highness's body is worth 1,000 gold. How can he go do something like that?" Mu Qing rolls his eyes and says that they did jobs like carrying bricks. How is busking any different? Feng Xin argues that manual labor adds to their physical strength. Busking is to entertain people by making fools of themselves.
Xie Lian sees a clown tripping to the ground, making the crowd roar with laughter. The clown bows low to pick up coins tossed on the ground. Xie Lian shakes his head, repulsed, vowing to never busk. Mu Qing suggests they pawn off more of their stuff. Feng Xin says they already pawned off so much, the rest of their things mustn't be sold. Suddenly, the crowd shouts out that soldiers are coming. The three of them quickly hide and watch as soldiers in shiny armor strut down the street, interrogating suspicious-looking people. They're searching for Shenle royals who escaped. Xie Lian whispers that they should just head back, and the three of them sneak out quietly.
They run to a small forest on a small mountain, and Xie Lian can see thick smoke from the distance. He's worried. Did the Yong'An soldiers already find them? But as they approach a small cottage hidden in the trees, Xie Lian sees that the smoke is coming from inside, and he shouts, "Mother, what's going on? Are you there?" The queen comes out and says happily, "My son, you've come?" The queen looks thin and plain, but her face is happy and unbothered. Xie Lian says, "What's with the smoke?" She replies embarrassed, "It's not really anything. I just wanted to do a little cooking today."
Xie Lian doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. Don't! What cooking? Just settle with the food Feng Xin and Mu Qing bring you every day. This smoke is too conspicuous. Where there's smoke, there's people. You'll attract the Yong'an soldiers. We bumped into them in the city earlier. The city will also tighten their security. We'll need to move to a different place again. Feng Xin and Mu Qing go in to put out the smoke, and the queen goes back to the back room and the queen goes to the back room to see the king. Fengchen asks Xie Lian if Fengchen asks if Xie Lian will go see his father, but Xie Lian shakes his head no. The king of a fallen kingdom and the banished god, and they both feel too pathetic and shameful to face each other. They've avoided speaking to each other this entire time.
Xie Lian tells his mother to pack their belongings, and they'll come back at night to find a new place. The queen says, "My son, you're leaving just like that? You haven't visited in so many days. Why leave so fast?" Xie Lian replies, "I have to go train." Truthfully, he is leaving to find work to buy food. The queen then asks if he's eaten. When Xie Lian shakes his head no, she tells him to come and eat the porridge that she's made. She invites Mu Qing and Feng to eat as well, and the two of them feel flustered by the sudden offer, and they sit timidly at the table, feeling surprised and flattered. However, when the queen brings the pot, their surprise turns to dread.
Later, back in the city, Mu Qing's stomach is aching and he complains about the porridge's taste. Fengchen grits his teeth and says, "Shut up. Don't force people to remember that pot of stuff. The queen's body is of 10,000 gold after all. She never cooked. This is already..." Xie Lian pats their backs and tells them to stop vomiting. There seems to be some work up ahead. There's a man on the street shouting for hired help. They're building a new house and they need men to clear the muddy fields. The three quickly sign up and work hard all day until their bodies are covered in mud. Fengchen clutches his stomach in pain as he works with a green face.
Xie Lian whispers to Fengchen if he wants to sit down and rest for a while. Mu Qing tells Xie Lian that maybe he should be the one to rest. Xie Lian says that he can still work. Mu Qing rolls his eyes and says, "Don't be stubborn. If you dirty your clothes, I'm the one who has to wash them. I'd rather do your part of the work." A voice then calls out, "Work hard and don't talk. Don't be lazy. You still want to get paid?" Fengchen picks up twice the amount of mud than before and he says, "It's not like it's a lot of pay. Why make so much fuss like this?" Finally, the day of work ends, and though they're not physically exhausted, working so hard with so little pay and food makes their heart exhausted.
As they sit down to eat and rest on the field, they notice a group of rowdy men hauling a stone statue. Mu Qing comments that perhaps it's a new divine statue to guard the house. Xie Lian falls silent. Before, it was his statues chosen to guard the land. Which god has replaced him now? Curious, he stands to go to the crowd and see, but the divine statue he sees is kneeling, and when he turns to see the front, his mind goes blank. It's of his own face. Someone rudely pats the kneeling statue on the head and says that this statue is meant for stepping on. If you step on the god of misfortune, you'll get good fortune.
When Fengchen and Mu Qing see the statue, they are shocked. Fengchen wants to fight, but Mu Qing holds him back. Xie Lian is silent and still. Someone in the crowd grumbles, "Isn't this rather inappropriate? He was a god once, His Highness the Crown Prince." But then another person replies, "What you said was wrong. Stepping on a god of misfortune isn't anything inappropriate. In fact, he should be thanking us." Xie Lian finally says, "Oh, why should he thank you?" The man says, "When you step into a temple, doesn't every step give a merit to the god? This statue is the same. When you take a step, isn't it collecting merits for the crown prince? Thus he should thank us." Xie Lian can't listen anymore. He raises his fist and lunges.
Fengchen cries out as he joins the brawl. Mu Qing gets pulled in as well. Xie Lian and Fengchen want to fight freely, but Mu Qing reminds them that if they kill mortals, they will get more punishment. So they end up restrained. The three of them get kicked out of the fields with no pay as a result. Mu Qing is furious that they worked for nothing because of the fight. Fengchen tells him to stop talking about money, but Mu Qing says that they're starving and nothing can be done without money. The two of them need to restrain themselves and suck it up to survive, which is really kind of weird coming from Mu Qing because Mu Qing's always the one with the thinnest face and he never sucks anything up.
No, he's only had to suck things up. Every single time someone's treated him badly, he's sucked it up and held his tongue and never fought back. So he's like, yes, When people bullied him over the cherries, he just took it until Xie Lian came and rescued him. And when he was bullied, he, instead of fighting against the guard door, he went around the back of the building to tell the Goshi over the window. He never fights back. He's always had to like suck it up his entire life. And he's like, you have to do the same as me now.
I guess it's because I guess I misinterpreted, because every time that he's faced with something that he doesn't like, just lashes out at Xie Lian and Feng. And I guess it's because they're like his best friends, and so he just takes it out all on them. And anything they say, he just lets out a hundredfold.
But so like later on when he becomes a god, he definitely doesn't like hold his tongue anymore. He definitely like says his opinions, and if anyone ever like says like some like accuses of anything, he'll be the first one to be like, no, I'm not, like, what are you talking about? Like, he's gonna defend himself. But like definitely before he became a god, when he was still a servant, he's always like had to be very
sucking it up. You're right.
Sucking it up. Yep.
So basically he's gonna eventually eat his words, because he just goes and lets it out.
Yeah.
Feng argues back, how can they endure this kind of humiliation? Mu Qing says that these incidents are likely to happen more frequently since the war is lost, so they might as well just get used to it or die.
Feng says, how can Xie Lian get used to humiliation? To his face getting stepped on? Why does he need to do that? Xie Lian cries out irritated. That's enough. Stop arguing. Is something small like this worth fighting over? The two of them shut up, and Xie Lian sighs. They still need to find a carriage to pick up his parents and find a new place for them to live. They start to walk, but then Mu Qing suddenly stops walking. Xie Lian looks back confused, but after some silence, Mu Qing says, Your Highness, I want to talk to you about something. Xie Lian says, What is it? Mu Qing says, I want to leave. Xie Lian stops breathing, and Feng says, What? What did you say? Mu Qing straightens his back. Please permit me to leave. Feng exclaims, Leave? What should His Highness do if you leave? What about the king and the queen?
Mu Qing is silent and then says, I'm sorry, I can only do so much. The king and the queen are His Highness's parents, but I have my own mother. She needs my care too. I can't say I need to go take care of someone else and someone else's parents and neglect my own mother. So I pray Your Highness will understand. I can't continue to follow you by your side. Xie Lian feels faint. Feng says, Is that the real reason? How come you've never mentioned it before? Mu Qing says, This is one of the reasons. Another reason is I feel we've sunken into a dilemma, but as to how to break out of this dilemma, we have very different ideas. Pardon my honesty, but if things keep going on like this, nothing will get better even in 1,000,000 years. So our paths have diverged.
Feng is so angry that he just starts chuckling. Your Highness, you hear that? Remember what I first said? If you were ever banished, he'd for sure be the first to break away. Didn't I tell you? Mu Qing grows angry and says, Will you please not force me? I'm only speaking the truth. Everyone has their own views. No one was born destined to be the righteous path of the mortal realm, the center of the world. Perhaps you enjoy orbiting around another person, but others might not be the same as you. Feng replies, Can't you just say plainly that you're going to turn your back on us? Xie Lian shouts, Enough! He turns to Mu Qing. I don't like forcing other people. Go.
Mu Qing looks at him and then bows, turns around, and walks away. Feng says in disbelief, Your Highness, you really let him go just like that? Xie Lian sighs that he has no choice. Feng is pissed that Mu Qing really just left, just like that, so easily. Xie Lian says that Mu Qing's heart has already left. There's no point. What will they do, tie him up and force him to wash his clothes? Feng spits angrily. God damn it. That bastard can share in the wealth, but not the suffering. Running away the moment shit hits the fan. Does he remember nothing of your kindness? Xie Lian tells him to just let it go. Feng vows, What the actual fuck? But don't you worry, Your Highness. I will never, ever leave you. Xie Lian forces a small smile but stays quiet. He's already afraid that Feng Shen will leave at this point, which is why he later bribes him with a golden belt to stay.
Guys, remember earlier in the previous chapters how we were talking about why Feng Shen ended up with the golden belt? Feng Shen offers to go and find a carriage, and Xie Lian is left alone. He is still shocked to the core that Mu Qing left. First, he never imagined that someone so close would just up and leave. Second, he's always believed that friends would always be friends forever. In stories, the hero and the lover always stay together, and they were only forced apart by some tragic death, not because the hero and the lover drifted over differing opinions or desires. Xie Lian wanders around randomly until he comes across a river with children playing with floating lanterns. He realizes that today is the Yong'An festival, which is the ghost festival where families celebrate their ancestors and ghosts come to visit the living.
Near the river is an elderly man in black holding up lanterns, offering to sell them to children. He has a dark aura about him, but he says that his lanterns are special and can grant wishes. The children look curiously at the lanterns emitting red or green light, but Xie Lian realizes that those lights are actually the souls of ghosts sealed in the lanterns. This man must be some sketchy scammer selling spirits. Xie Lian rushes over and tells the children that they're being tricked, and if they buy the lanterns, they'll bring home ghosts. The man is enraged that Xie Lian is ruining his business. Xie Lian counters that if he must conduct such business, he should go to a specialized place, not here to ignorant children.
The man huffs. Where does such a specialized place exist? All sellers like him just find a random place to set up shop. There's no special location. And this is literally the birth of the idea of Ghost City, you guys. He is about to leave when Xie Lian stops him and says, "Where did you get all these ghosts?" The man says that they're from a battlefield nearby, which means that these are all souls of dead soldiers. Xie Lian lectures him that these are souls of heroic warriors. How dare he just sell them away like toys? The man says he needs to make a living. If Xie Lian cares so much, why doesn't he buy them? Xie Lian admits defeat and says, "Fine, I'll buy." He pulls out a few pennies. Is this enough?
The man says, "Of course not." Xie Lian doesn't know how much money is normal and he's never looked at price tags before. But he says, "Your lanterns don't look that pretty and they're very unlucky. You might as well sell them to me for cheap." The man replies, "It's already this price and you're asking for cheaper? I've never seen anyone more broke than you. How embarrassing." Xie Lian shamefully says, "I'm a crown prince, I'm telling you. Never in my life has anyone called me broke." The man laughs and says, "If you're the crown prince, then I'm the good old emperor." Xie Lian feels awkward and says, "Will you sell? This is all the money I got."
At this point, Xie Lian still has like an ego. Oh my god. The two argue back and forth until finally they reach an agreement. Xie Lian uses his sad bit of money to buy the 10 ghost lanterns and takes them to the river. He opens each lantern and releases the little ghosts inside, performing a simple service for them. The ghosts are newly formed from recently passed mortals, so they're weak and confused, clinging to Xie Lian. He urges them to go and leave. He pushes them up until the spirits rise and float into the horizon, dissipating and returning to the world. But suddenly, Xie Lian hears a tiny voice. "Your Highness?" There is one tiny ball of ghost fire that remains. Xie Lian is surprised. "Were you calling me just now? You recognize me?"
This ghost fire is stronger than the others, possessing a consciousness and able to speak. The ghost fire bounces excitedly. "Of course I recognize you." Xie Lian feels awkward since he's dirty and covered in mud. He asks why the ghost fire remains. Xie Lian performed a service for it properly, didn't he? The ghost fire replies that he's the one who doesn't want to leave. Xie Lian asks if it has an unfulfilled wish or attachment. The ghost says yes. Xie Lian asks what it is. He can try and help. The ghost replies, "I have a beloved who is still in this world." Xie Lian asks if it's his wife. The ghost replies that they never married. Then he says, "In fact, I might not be well remembered. We never talked."
Xie Lian hums and says, "So then, what is your wish?" The ghost says, "I want to protect them." Xie Lian is surprised. Usually ghosts' last wishes are, I want to tell her I love her, or I want to have a round of physical relations, or the scarier, I want her to accompany me under. To protect is quite rare. Xie Lian says, but you no longer belong to this world. The ghost replies, what of it? Xie Lian says, if you remain forcefully, you won't be able to rest in peace. The ghost doesn't care and says, I pray to never rest in peace. Xie Lian says, if your beloved knew you couldn't rest in peace because of them, they might feel guilty and troubled. The ghost thinks for a bit and then says, then I just won't let them know why I haven't gone.
Xie Lian asks, won't they find out sooner or later? The ghost replies, then I won't let them find out I'm protecting them either. Xie Lian can't help but be moved by the ghost's strong love and stubbornness. He realizes that the ghost is a young soldier and he says quietly, this war separated you from your beloved. I'm sorry. I didn't win. But the ghost declares, to die in battle for you is my greatest honor. Xie Lian is stunned. During the war, the slogan, to die in battle for the crown prince is the greatest honor for a Shenle soldier, was used by the generals to excite the soldiers and say that even if they die, it was for a great purpose. Of course, it was a lie, but this young ghost had taken this phrase to heart and says it with such sincerity.
Xie Lian feels his eyes grow hot with tears and says, I'm sorry, forgive me. The ghost fire flares brighter. I won't forget. Your Highness, I am forever your most devoted believer. Xie Lian forces down a sob. I have already lost all my believers. Believing in me won't do you any good. It might even bring disasters. Do you know? Even my friend has left me. The ghost declares, I won't. Xie Lian says, you will. The ghost insists, believe me, Your Highness. But Xie Lian no longer believes in anyone, not even in himself.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow, we really left that on a sad note.
Oh my god. I'm crying.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Can you guys guess who that little soldier is? Who that little ghost fire is?
Fire. A soldier that died in the war for Xie Lian. He died in the war for Xie Lian, and now he's a ghost.
To die for you is my greatest honor.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That line will just come back. It's gonna come back. There's so many good lines here. Like this interaction. This is also like the first time that Hua Cheng has talked to Xie Lian and like had a full conversation with him.
Yeah.
It's the first time he's had a full conversation with him, and it's when he's dead.
He's dead. And he talks about the thing that's the most important to him, which is really special.
Which is to never rest in peace so that he can protect his loved one forever.
And
forever.
That he won't forget His Highness. He's
ever
the most devoted believer.
So Xie Lian in the previous chapter literally was like, I wonder what drives Hua Cheng. Because Ghost Kings have to have an extreme obsession of like hatred or some sort of emotion to stay on Earth. And the extreme obsession and emotion is literally devotion. It's not hatred. It's not revenge. It's not anger. It's his devotion that keeps him alive for 800 years.
Yep.
What the fuck?
It's such an amazing thing. Like, that gives him so much purpose. Because think about it. When you get your revenge, you just lose all the steam. You lose everything that motivates you. Yeah. But devotion and faith can really lead you on forever.
Yeah. Oh my god. This
unending fountain. Good. It's such a good scene. This entire book, like if you guys read all of the other books or listened to our podcast about each of the other books, everything has been through rose-colored lenses. Everything is so cute. You can imagine scenes of like comedy with like chibis.
Yeah, it's very anime-y. Very like comedic. And,
so
like,
comedic, so cute.
Embarrassing and funny. But this book is like, nah.
Is dark. I want you to imagine the darkest looking animation.
I want to just like go by what we just in one chapter we learned so much about how shitty their lives are. Okay, they're constantly on the run. They have to move all the fucking time.
They're starving.
They're starving because they can't find work because everyone is looking for work because there was a fucking war, and Xie Lian has to hide his face because he can't get caught, so he can't find
Yep.
like an actual job. He can only get like the bottom of the bottom tier jobs, which is like shoveling dirt or picking up bricks. It's and people are getting paid in half a bowl of rice. Like that's how bad the situation is. They're
Yeah.
barely getting enough food, and he has to support his parents.
Yep.
Like they're mortals.
And himself, because he's immortal.
And himself, he has to eat. He's literally fainted from starving.
Yeah.
When he was a god, he gets his food from like the sunlight. Okay, like he's like he doesn't eat.
Just
And
existing.
now, yeah, and now he's like he has to feed him. He has to feed Mu Qing and Feng and his parents. Like no wonder no wonder Mu Qing left. Like that life is so hard.
Yeah, because Mu Qing also has to think about his mom who's still alive.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel
And,
like Mu Qing's not a selfish person. He's very pragmatic. It's just that everyone else thinks that Xie Lian
Oh my
is
God.
the center of the universe.
Yeah, and Mu Qing's kind of sick of it because he keeps giving out ideas like, "Hey, maybe we should sell more stuff," or "Hey, maybe we should try busking." And Feng Shen is too proud and too. He still has like the air of like a royal like member. He's like, "No, we can't allow Xie Lian to do that. He's a crown prince." Like, no, he's not a crown prince anymore. Okay, like, bitch, he's a fucking homeless person, and you
Yes.
can't keep being that prideful if you want to survive. And Mu Qing realizes that he's never going to win in any of these arguments, and he's like, "Fuck this, I'm out."
Yeah. He really needs to get on his way to do, like, to live his own life. He can't just keep living it for somebody else.
Yes. And there's more that gets explained with Mu Qing's role in all of this, and it's even more fucked up. Like when you learn more about what Mu Qing had to do and had to go through, I'm like, I get so mad for Mu Qing. I'm like, that's not fair.
Yeah. It really isn't.
Yeah.
I feel
Oh
like
my
Mu
God.
Qing is very similar to Sen Cho in that fact, because like Sen Cho suffers silently and is always like, well, people are just going to assume the worst in me anyway, so I might as well not fight it.
He's just like, I already know everyone hates me, so like, fuck, whatever. I'll just be the bad guy then. Fine, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, and Fenshin is Lu Qingge.
Yeah. He's like, I am uptight and like loyal, and I will be the moral compass. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel this. I mean, there's like also some more character development about with the queen because like even though she's like poverty, she still like tries to be happy and like she's just happy to see her son. Like every time Shelian goes to visit her, she's like happy even though she's like struggling, and I really like that aspect
Yeah.
of her.
She's a royal who isn't spoiled. She understands where her privilege comes from, but she doesn't have the means to be able to empower
She
herself.
just never learned how to do like she's only had servants take care of her from like when she was born.
Yep.
Like she's never had to do anything before in her entire life. So like
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect someone who's never cooked before to learn how to cook all of a sudden, you know?
Yeah. There's
So-
like, actually, there's a ton of women who are like this, who are entering into the new millennia, having never done anything in their lives.
Yeah.
Like they're all from the boomer generation, and it's because they were forced by society to not be able to do work. And the only thing they knew how to do was to take care of children.
Yep. And now they have no life skills. And
Yeah.
it's like because
And
no one
they're-
taught them life skills.
They're literally rotting away in their like debt, and they're living off social security, and maybe they still have a little bit of wealth left over from their like husbands who passed away. But I hear stories all the time of like old women who are still driving like a Cadillac but have no idea how to pay their bills and
Yeah,
are
they
just
don't know what
starving.
the fuck is going on. Yeah, and they just need people to take care of them because they just don't know. And it's like that's Shelian's mom. Like she was a queen her whole life. She's never like I don't know. She's never had to do anything, and now I feel bad for her.
Yeah, that's rough.
Okay.
Well, now we're on chapter 182. Actually, before we do that, we can take a look at a couple of people's.
Okay.
Yeah, so like, K-Pain's like,
Okay, and it's
crying.
I see all the crying emojis, and I'm like,
Yes.
same.
Michael's like,
I feel
this is
that.
sadness.
We literally started with a nightmare of his parents getting hung, and the fucking white no face haunting him in his dreams.
And it's like, I can't believe he would be willing to even tie the silk ribbon around his throat after
Yes.
having a nightmare about being
Yes.
hung.
There was actually a big scene. I couldn't fit it in. It was just it was like so it was because he was like he had to cover his face because like soldiers are looking for him, but he feels like the grip of a cold chill like grasping onto his heart when he had to like cover himself with that, especially right after that nightmare. Like oh my god, like that's so.
Oh, God. All right. So let's move on to chapter 182. Hero defeated by a penny. Xie Lian and his family travel at night until they reach another city. He settles his parents in a secluded area and then goes out with Feng to make money. They work all day for little money, like always, but this time they feel Mu Qing's absence. Mu Qing is normally the one holding the money bag, keeping count. Feng is worried he'll lose the bag, so Xie Lian holds on to it. After working all day, he counts the little money he's earned and feels sad. As a prince, even when he gave money to beggars, it was never this little.
Mu Qing was also the one who brought food for Xie Lian's parents. So now Xie Lian and Feng have to go bring them their daily necessities. The queen ends up happy that Xie Lian is visiting more often, but when she's happy, she cooks. She persuades Xie Lian and Feng to stay and eat her newly stewed soup. Feng body grows cold with sweat and he tries to decline, but the queen insists. Feng doesn't dare to offend her, so he sits and stares at the pot with a pale face. When the lid is lifted, Xie Lian mutters, "This chicken died a tragic death." Feng lip trembles and he says, "Your Highness, you didn't see right. There's no chicken in this." Xie Lian wonders, "Huh? Then what's that thing floating like a dead chicken?"
The queen pours them each a bowl, but when she leaves to give a bowl to the king, Xie Lian and Feng quickly tosses out the soup, pretending to wipe their mouths and say that they're full. The queen is delighted and asks if it was good. Xie Lian praises her, and so she says he should have another bowl. Xie Lian wants to cry, but just then the queen asks where Mu Qing is. Xie Lian's heart tightens and he lies and says he sent Mu Qing on a mission. He won't be back for a while. The queen looks troubled. Xie Lian realizes that the queen's hands are peeling and bloody. It turns out that she tried to do household chores, but she's not very good. Her once delicate and wealthy hands are now in a horrifying state.
With no attendants or Mu Qing to help, the queen has to do everything herself for the first time in her life. Mu Qing was attending to Xie Lian, the queen, and the king this entire time. No wonder he left. Xie Lian offers to help her with the labor, but the queen smiles and says, "No need, you just take care of yourself. I've never done laundry or cooked before, but since my time is free every day, doing the chores myself is still quite fun. Especially since you both enjoyed the meal, it made me quite happy." Xie Lian and Feng look at each other feeling guilty and awful. Then the queen asks if Xie Lian can bring back some medicine the next time he comes. Xie Lian is alarmed and says, "What kind of medicine?" The queen says she's not sure, but it's for symptoms like coughing up blood.
Xie Lian is more alarmed. Who is coughing up blood? Why is it the first time he's hearing about this? Just then, the king shouts out from the closed room, "I told you not to say anything unnecessary!" Xie Lian barges into the room and sees the king ill in bed, looking like an ashen-faced old man, and the entire room has this musky air of sickness. He panics and says in a raised tone, "What's going on here? If you're sick, why didn't you say something sooner?" His father is furious. How dare Xie Lian lecture him and raise his voice to the king? Xie Lian is in disbelief. How can his father be throwing around his title at a time like this? But that only makes the king angrier and he shouts, Get out of here!"
The queen drags Xie Lian out, saying that the king is sick, and so Xie Lian should step back. He feels hopeless. They are poor, and the illness has already progressed so much to coughing up blood. It'll be impossible to cure. Xie Lian says that he'll go and find a doctor. The king shouts out, "No need!" Feng also points out that they can't find a doctor because they are fugitives in hiding. The queen begs Xie Lian to just go find some medicine instead. They definitely can't bring a doctor here. After standing in a dazed state, Xie Lian begins rummaging through the chest in the cottage and pulls out the sword Hongjing. Remember that this is a special sword personally gifted to Xie Lian by Zhen Wu, but Xie Lian says that he's going to pawn it.
Feng is shocked and says that he can't. If word got out that he sold the sword gifted by the emperor, it'll look bad. But Xie Lian says that his father's life is more important. They go to the pawn shop in the city looking downtrodden. They have no choice. It's not like they can steal since they're still considered heavenly officials and must uphold their moral compass. Xie Lian hesitates outside the shop. This is the last sacred sword that he owns. But just then they suddenly hear a loud commotion and shouting. Yeah. But just then they suddenly hear loud commotion and shouting. They go to see what's going on and are shocked to witness a servant man beating up his master.
A person in the crowd explains that this servant followed his master since he was young and was very loyal, but the master gave no pay and worked him to the bone. Now the servant is beating his master, shouting, "From today onwards, I ain't your dog no more." The master cowers on the floor, but the crowd only cheers and encourages the servant. Hearing all this, Xie Lian's heart lurches and he glances at Feng Shin. But Feng Shin doesn't notice and he comments offhandedly. I see. Then this master really is no good. No wonder the servant is rebelling. Xie Lian's heart cracks. Isn't it only a matter of time until Feng Shin also gets sick of Xie Lian? What if he leaves too?
A while later, Hongjing gets pawned, and they buy over 10 kinds of medicine to take back. Feng Shin goes outside to boil the medicine. At the same time, Xie Lian goes inside and rummages through the chests again until he finds a golden belt. This is his final golden belt, since he has pawned off all the others. He keeps the final one as a souvenir, but now he offers it to Feng Shin and tells him that it's compensation for all that he's done for so long. Feng Shin is confused. What's with you all of a sudden? Why are you talking about compensation to me at a time like this? You might just as well pawn this off and buy more medicine for His Majesty. It's fine if you don't pawn it too. Keep it for yourself. This is something that only heavenly officials can possess.
So the way this chapter ends kind of is awkward because it goes directly into the next chapter. So I think we should just continue.
Okay.
It's like cut in half, yeah. Chapter 183, Hero Defeated by a Penny. Xie Lian says that he'll come up with a different idea for medicine and insists that Feng Shin take the belt. Feng Shin is still bewildered, but he says, fine, he'll take it for now. But if Xie Lian wants it back, just let him know. The days pass. Xie Lian has taken on the cooking duties and insists that the queen focus only on caring for the king instead of doing any chores. Xie Lian also feels guilty for fighting with his father, but he doesn't know how to apologize. Unfortunately, the city they are hiding near has increased their search for escaped Shanli nobles, so they are forced to relocate again. Xie Lian has lost track of how many times they have moved. He notices that though their lives have been overturned, the average civilians are living on as normal, completely unaffected by the change in royal families.
After a few months, all the money they made from pawning Hongjing is used up. The king is still ill and in need of medicine. Feng Shin and Xie Lian wander the streets of the city to look for money, but they have no luck. Finally, Xie Lian suggests that they give busking a try. Before, when Feng Shin and Xie Lian discussed busking as an option in the cottage, the king overheard and grew so outraged that he refused to eat any medicine if they busked. He considers it a shameful way to earn money. But Xie Lian thinks that they have no more options now. Feng Shin offers to do it alone so that Xie Lian can claim ignorance if the king asks, but Xie Lian just shakes his head and wraps the bandages tighter around his face.
After inhaling deeply, Xie Lian shouts out, "Dear folks on the street, don't miss out on this." A crowd soon gathers, excited to see what will happen. Feng Shin introduces himself. My nickname is Godly Archer. I can shoot a bullseye from 100 feet away. I will show off my embarrassing skills for everyone to see. If you all enjoy the show, will you please grant some coins? He shoots at a banner hanging high up in a tall building, and the crowd cheers and tosses a few coins. Xie Lian crouches down to pick up the coins, but as he does, his heart feels low, feeling like he's finally lost his dignity.
Feng Shin also feels sick. He was the crown prince's guard, always addressed with courtesy and honor, but now he's like a monkey shooting his weapon to entertain the crowd instead of killing enemies in a battle. Just then a woman shouts out, "Who's shooting arrows in the streets?" The crowd immediately points to Feng Shin, and a group of women wearing thick makeup approach him, angry that his shooting has scared away their customers. Feng Shin already dislikes talking to women, so he backs away nervously. Xie Lian shields him and apologizes, offering up compensation and trying to defuse the situation.
Coincidentally, Xie Lian's face bandages has slipped a little, so when the angry women see Xie Lian's face, their eyes light up and say, "Ay yo, what a handsome little Gaga." Very well, it's decided. You're together, right? We'll take you as your payment then. Before Xie Lian can react, the women drag him away into their store, which turns out to be a brothel. Xie Lian panics and says he has no money. But the women laugh and say, "Of course you've got no money. That's why we've brought you here to earn money." Xie Lian shouts, "Huh? Sorry, but I'm a man." The women say annoyed, "We know you're a man. We're not blind." Feng is alarmed and shouts, "Let go of him this instant."
Feng shoves through the crowd and grabs Xie Lian and runs away. The brothel women call over 30 fighters to chase him all over the city, but they manage to get away. Xie Lian and Feng can't ever return to that area again, but they did manage to earn some money busking, so they find a new area to set up shop and busk again. Feng looks very handsome, which brings in a large crowd. They manage to earn enough money for food and medicine for a few days. However, good things don't last, and after a few weeks, several large men suddenly approach them after their street performance. Xie Lian is alarmed, worried that they were Yong'An soldiers, but it turns out they were a group of other street performers, angry that Feng and Xie Lian were busking on their turf.
Xie Lian argues that no one is stealing business. People just happen to like their performance more than others. But the men are pissed and shout that no one else has been able to make any money for days. Feng grows impatient and punches a wall, creating a small crater. The men are scared, but they are determined not to leave empty-handed. They suggest that they have a competition and the winner will get to stay. Whoever can break a stone on their chest will win. It's the other group's best and most famous talent. Xie Lian agrees to compete and he lays on the ground next to a man from the other group, both with a stone slate on their chests.
But before Feng slams down on with the hammer, Xie Lian stops him and says he'll put two more stone slates on his chest. The other group is shocked. No one has shattered 3 stones on their chests at the same time before. Feng calmly slams down the hammer, and the 3 stones crack cleanly, and Xie Lian stands up unharmed. He feels confident that they've won, but then the other man says that he'll add 3 more stones. The group is worried, and even Feng says that 4 stones is dangerous, but the man is determined not to lose. Xie Lian is worried and wonders if they should stop this, since a mortal can't withstand 4 stones. But the man shouts out, "You just watch."
Another man smashes down the hammer, but the one on the floor coughs up blood. The man with the hammer gets scared, but the one on the floor shouts, "Hit again!" With each hit, more blood is coughed up. Everyone tells him to stop, but the man is desperate to win and refuses to back down. He needs to earn money too. Xie Lian can't watch anymore and says that he will leave. He can't let a mortal kill himself over this. Feng and Xie Lian had finally found a way to make money, but now they have to abandon it. Xie Lian wonders maybe they can move to another city and try again. But when Feng and Xie Lian return to the cottage, the queen says that the king has gotten worse and he won't be able to move anymore. They can't leave to another city.
Xie Lian rummages through the chests, but there's nothing left to pawn. Meanwhile, Feng is outside stewing medicine, and he's humming like he's in a good mood. Xie Lian has noticed that in the past few days, Feng has been acting strangely. Sometimes he grins like a fool, and sometimes he looks troubled. Feng also goes on his own to run errands for the king and queen. Perhaps something has happened during one of his errands. However, Xie Lian doesn't have the energy to care and doesn't ask him about it. It's around this time that Feng met Jian Lan, and Jian Lan being Lang Cheng, the prostitute ghost with the baby.
Yes. After a while, Feng says that the medicine that he's brewing is the last one they have. What will they do for money now? Xie Lian thinks for a long time and then suddenly stands up. He says, "You stay here and guard. I'll think of a way." Feng is confused and says, "Where are you going? What way can you possibly think of?" But Xie Lian leaves without looking back. "Don't mind me and don't follow me."
Everything is bad.
God.
Everything is bad. That
It just
poor
keeps getting
man.
worse. I know. Oh my god, I felt so bad for the performer. He, he's just trying to make a living too. And
Yeah.
everyone is struggling.
It wasn't out of pride, it was out of desperation. Like at
Yes.
first you think, oh my God, there's these bullies, whatever. But then you
Yeah.
realize, no, this guy isn't here
They
because
need to live. They probably have families too.
so sad.
Yeah.
It's really rough.
And there's really like there's no bad person. It's just really unfortunate circumstances. And
Yeah.
this is what happens when there's a fucking war, you guys. This is just
And
what happens.
somebody loses, you know?
Everybody loses.
It's so
Yeah.
sad. Yeah.
Before we go on, I realized that this is the next chapter I haven't completed, so this is gonna be the end.
Oh, you think so?
No, I literally 184 is not complete. Like I'm not done with it.
But hold on, let me look at how long we've been recording. Oh no. Oh no, oh no. Yeah, it's not long enough. We have like maybe half an hour's worth of content.
Well, don't tell you it's not done. This is what I was worried about.
Womp womp womp.
Yep,
Okay, well then we'll end the stream here, you guys. Thank you so much for listening.
We can still do our bottom of the show and stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But we can't record our bottom show on the stream.
Oh, we're
It's
off
too
topic.
explicit. Oh, we're off topics.
Yes. Let me write this down.
I have an idea. Do you want to take like a 20-minute break to finish writing, and then we'll come back, record the rest of the episode, and then record our off topic?
I'm honest with you. I don't even think I have time for that because it's already like 9:30 for me. Yeah.
My tears.
This is why I wanted to end earlier on the previous episode. I knew this was gonna happen.
Womp
Oh my
womp. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll assess it later. Okay, cool. All right, then let's take a look at our off topics, which I still need to look at, which I think I'm actually going to talk about a fan fiction because,
Okay.
yeah.
I am ready with mine if you want me to go first.
Go first.
Okay. So I had mentioned this previous episode that I was reading this fanfic about autistic Lanjan, which is like one of my favorite genres now. Let me copy paste the title into the doc. Okay, so this is a fic written by Scarlet Storm, and she's written a bunch of other fics that I really like. So definitely check her out if you want some really good modern times Murazushi fanfics. But this is a fic about Lanjan, who is he's autistic. He lives alone, and he lives on a schedule, and every Friday he notices that there's like this really hot guy who passes by his neighborhood, and he doesn't know him, but he notices him. So he plans his Fridays always like making sure that he's outside with like a snack or a drink or doing gardening or whatever, so he can always keep an eye on the hot guy that passes by for like 5 seconds on his Fridays. But one day, right when he's about to open the door to go outside on a Friday, suddenly the hot guy comes running into his house because a dog is chasing after him, and he's fucking terrified of it. This hot guy, of course, is Wei Ying, who has like the biggest dog phobia, and he goes through like this huge panic attack, and like he's like just panic attacking all over Lanjan in his house. And like and Lanjan is like used to these kind of situations because he's like had training with like panic attacks and like dealing with them, so he like talks him through it and like calms him down. And that's like this is like their meet cute or like meet ugly. This is their first time that they're like interacting with each other. And this fic is very long. It is like 100,000 words, and it's set in modern times in like modern America. And the reason I like this fic, and I can't even say that it's a good fan fiction of Murazushi because the characters are honestly a little too out of character for it to be considered a fan fiction, but the writing and the storytelling and the characters, there's so many characters. This cast is huge, and it's not just like the characters of the Murazushi world. There's also like some original characters that help give flavor to this world, and it's written so well that I don't even care that it's out of character. I am reading it purely for the fiction of it, purely for the writing of it and like the storytelling. And it is the most inclusive fanfic that I've ever read. Okay, there are like autistic characters, there's neurodivergent characters, there are trans characters, there are all the rainbows of the LGBTQ universe, there are just all age, there's all social classes, there's talk of like people who have like elderly, and there's people who are like adopting new children and like going through that. Like this is the most like wholesome fic that I've ever read in my entire life, and it's so long. It's like but it's like super, it's so fucking inclusive. Like it just fucking touches like any aspect of like neurodivergent or like queer culture or like the intersection of the two.
Yes.
And it's so good. It's really great. And literally this has like made me like rethink my entire like brain and mindset. So like I highly recommend it. It's so great. Like and again, it's so out of character, but like literally I do not care because the writing is so good. Like if this was an original fiction, I would have believed it. But the only reason I'm reading it is because it's a fanfic, and I'm really glad I discovered it, even though it's like so out of character, because it really touched me in a really impactful way. So I love it. It's really great. Like the rest of the fic is like silly. It's like Lanjan decides to train a dog, the dog that was terrorizing Wei Ying in the neighborhood, because Lanjan wants Wei Ying to feel safe in his neighborhood because he wants to keep coming and he wants to like build a relationship with him. And from him training this dog, he realizes that this dog is taken care of by it's an elderly woman's dog, but she's going through like dementia, like what's the word? Dementia, because she's like old and like no one's taking care of her, and like her doctors have not been giving her the correct medication. Aww. And the only person taking care of her is like this young teenage out like in college who has no financial support because her siblings decide that she's the youngest, she has free time, she's a college student, she can take care of grandma. And so she's like stressed out and like just for having to take care of everything and like take care of her grandmother and take care of her classes and go to work and like take care of this dog that no one wants to take care of and have time to train. So Lanchan steps in with like the neighborhood, and like Mian Mian is like there, and like all these different characters are in the neighborhood, and they all help this teenager and this grandmother, and also like they help each other. Like this is the community of people who just like love and care for each other, and it's just so great. Like there's so many characters. Like that's just like a little bit aspect of it, because there's so many more characters, because like Lanjan also has like this queer friendly like martial arts school who like takes care of like people who feel like othered in society, and this is like a safe place for them to like, it's a community center, so they also like have a safe place to like be themselves. And Mo Shan Yu is one of the, so Wei also has like a dark history in this. Like he was homeless, he had a drug addiction, so he's been struggling with like rehabilitation and like becoming like himself again. And while he was homeless, he ran into Mo Shan Yu, who was kicked out for being trans. And so like the two of them stuck together, and Mo Shan Yu helped him like become a human again, because before he was like suicidal and didn't care about life and just cared about his drug addiction. But then taking care of Mo Shan Yu made him take care of himself. And so he re-enters society, and like, and it's just there's so much in this story. Like there's so much. It's like crazy.
I really want to read it.
It's really, and like you cannot think of it as a Murazushi fanfic, because it's like so out of character. If you keep thinking of them in that aspect, it will like annoy you. But just think of it as its own story, who happen to have these character names. But oh my god, it's really great. Like it's so well done. And it is explicit, so there is, and like there's a lot of explicit scenes, and the explicit scenes are also fucking wholesome, because there's so much communication, and there's like this, because like Lanjan has like desires that he has gotten bullied for from his past partners, and he feels like trauma from like talking about these desires to Wei Ying, and Wei Ying like tries to like gives him like the safe space for him to be able to express himself, and like they have like the most like mature conversation about like sex, and it's really great. It's like amazing. Like I love, it's like so wholesome. It's like, why can't all of society be like this?
Oh my gosh
Yeah.
Yay, oh my gosh, yay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
okay,
why
so
we
that's
need
my really long yeah.
Well, I love that, because that's why we need fiction like this to kind of explain like the right way to approach people in life, because it's like, especially like if it's about neurodivergent people, then
it's so great. Like
it'll be so helpful to like explain and in detail, like from a neurodivergent perspective, instead of like from a perspective of, well, you just should know how to act like a human. I'm like, we literally don't.
There's this one scene that sticks out to me, and it's like after Lanjan had sex with his previous partners, he has a negative sensory experience with body fluids. And it's not that he thinks that people are dirty or unclean. He just has like a sensory thing, because he is neurodivergent, he has autism, and he does not like having body fluids on him. So like after he has sex, he always like has to go to the bathroom and clean up. Like that's just like his tick. And he gets really afraid after him and Wei Ying have sex for the first time, because he has to do his tick, and he feels like he doesn't want Wei Ying to feel like he's abandoned, or like make him think that he thinks he's dirty or anything like negative like that. He has a lot of trauma. He's like really scared of how Wang will interpret this. But then Wang is like completely understanding, and he's like, oh, so is it a germ thing? Like, I just want to know what's going on so like I can do better next time. Like, I just want to know like what your thought process is. I'm like, I'm not mad at you, and I just want to understand so that we can be on the same page. Like,
oh my
because we're a
God.
team. And I'm like, that is so like well adjusted. Like all these characters are so like, I mean, they have issues, but they also are well adjusted. Yeah, I love
Yes,
it.
communication, explanation,
Yeah,
like
it's so great.
like being fucking self-aware.
Yes, it's like these people have gone through therapy, like, and that's great. I love that for
Love
them.
it.
Like,
Oh,
it's
I
so
love
good.
it. That's
Yeah,
so
it's
good. I'm
good.
glad that
Yeah.
the author is like so good like that. Oh my gosh.
Yes, and it was really surprising because their other fanfics are like not like that at all. Like they write such different stories, and then this one was like came out of nowhere, and I'm like,
Wow.
you know what? I'm really into it. Like,
Leave a
I dig
comment
this.
for them so they know
Yes.
how much you appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel
Yeah,
like
it's
the
so
community on AO3, like for the big fics, there's a lot of talking, but for like new fics or like small fics from like writers that aren't well known, they don't get a lot of like user
Love,
reaction.
Yeah. Also, this is also the same writer who wrote the fanfic about weighing as a fox getting his head stuck in a peanut butter jar. So,
What? Oh my god, that's my
yep,
favorite.
same-
I love that one
it's
so
it's
much.
so good. So you know her writing is good. Like her writing is funny.
She's so good. Okay.
Yes. So like she wrote this 100,000 fic of like amazing wholesomeness. So,
I've
like,
already put it in my mark for later.
okay,
I
great.
can't wait to read
I'm
it.
so
Oh my
happy.
god.
I
oh my
can't wait
God.
for you to read it
Okay.
because like I know you like that fox fic. And
Yes,
this is, like,
I love that one so much. I
so
think about that
good.
one all the time.
I know, it's so cute. It's so cute. And like this one is like that, but like even better. Like it's so great.
Okay. Perfect. Woo. Woo. Okay.
Oh, so good.
So mine is called August by S. Yosano, and it's a Urha, like the husky and his white cat Shizen story. And this one focuses around the Hanahaki disease, which is a fictional disease made by fan fiction writers. And it originated from Japan, obviously, because it's Hanahaki. It's a Japanese word. And what it is it's a thorn bush grows in your lungs, and it's caused by unrequited love. So the more that you pine for a person, the more it'll grow, and you'll start coughing up flower petals and blood until it kills you, until it grows so big that it literally suffocates you and like pokes out of your back. And it's like really debilitating, and you get really sick and weak over it. So it's like horrifying pneumonia, and it kills you very slowly. And it's a physical manifestation of what it feels like to have unrequited love. And the only cure is to have the person love you back, or for you to cut it out like surgically with a doctor. But if you cut it out surgically, then you will forget that you loved the other person. Of course,
it's like eternal sunshine.
Right? Of course, it's really hard for the person to even make that decision, because the love is so important to them. And that is why they're deciding to like, well, that's why they developed the Hanahaki disease in the first place. It's not like a puppy love. It's not a love that is like easy to get rid of. It is like the most important thing to them. It defines their personality. So for them to like choose to surgically remove it, like most of the time they never do. They never would even decide to do that. And they sometimes even get it forcefully removed because they're literally dying and passed out in the hospital, and they can't make a decision for themselves because they're in a coma.
Well,
anyway, so that's
really depressing.
That's the beginning of just the idea of Hanahaki disease. I would love to do an episode in which we talk about stuff like that, like Hanahaki disease specifically, and then another episode where we talk about Omegaverse and other like fictional things.
I would love to do a deep dive on like specific fanfic tropes, because there's so many. There's like the soulmate ones with the markings. There's like the Hanahaki disease. There's Omegaverse. There's like there's so many. There's truly so many good tropes.
So many.
And like cliches that they're so good.
Yes. So for this story, Chu Wanning is a teacher at a high school in China, and it's like a school for rich kids, like a boarding school style. And then we have Moran, who is the star basketball player, and he's dating a Song Chiatong. Okay. And they are like the star couple. She has like a ton of like Instagram followers type of thing, or Weibo followers. And they're both like heirs to like rich conglomerates, like the Song conglomerate, and then the like whatever Shimong and his dad Shi Senyang's like Shisen or something, whatever their conglomerate is. And so these are a school filled with rich kids. Like all the Menghengshu twins are in there that just have so much money. Yes. And Chuaning is this like broke teacher who used to be like a brilliant engineer, but ended up deciding that he wants to teach instead. And he, of course, falls in love with Moran and develops the Hanehaki disease, and he keeps it completely secret. But Moran is also obsessed with his teacher and ends up seducing his teacher. And you're like, whoa, hold on, underage, woo, okay. But this is canonical for the story, because if you read the book, it also is underage, woo, love it, love it. And we watch Chuaning slowly suffering and dying from this disease while also having this romantic tryst with Moran, like really romantic. Like there's this one scene in which Moran like plays music on a record player and starts dancing with Chuaning, who has never in his life been danced with. And it is so sweet. It is so adorable and beautiful, but you know that like at the same time like Chuaning is like literally about to like go to the bathroom and puke out a ton of rose petals. And during their relationship, Chuaning is like slowly getting sicker and sicker. He, no matter how much food Moran cooks for him and makes for him and feeds him, Chuaning is like losing weight. He's getting gaunt. He's starting to get these like weird like things poking out of his back. Like you can see like it's not just his ribs. It's like really starting to look weird. And all throughout this time, he's going to Jiangxi to treat the symptoms. And Jiangxi, it's like this Hanehaki disease in this universe is very rare. Like no one's ever really seen it, so no one knows about it. And Jiangxi's only seen it 3 times. The first time the person died. The second time the person got it surgically removed, but then forgot about their love and forgot the person existed completely. And so he knows that like if he lets Chuaning live this out, he's going to die. The only choice is to cut it out. But Chuaning, of course, refuses immediately. It's like, no, never going to cut this out. And he's just slowly dying. But at the same time, Moran and his girlfriend Song Chitong are like the center of like tabloids and everything, because they're both like heir and heiresses, and they are promised to each other, like they're engaged. And Song Chitong is like determined to make sure that they stay engaged. She knows about what's going on between Moran and Chuaning, but she refuses to like let him go and is like blackmailing him to like keep the relationship together and everything. Until
so dark.
I know, until finally like it gets leaked out that Chuaning and Moran are together. Like it gets leaked out on the tabloids. Like everyone finds out that this creepy teacher has been like sleeping with his student, and it's like preying on him, and it's disgusting. And it actually that like ends up putting Chuaning in the hospital, like comatose. That incident is like so bad that he ends up having like he just passed. Like he like no Chuaning. Chuaning is now just like a vegetable. And it turns out it wasn't Song Chitong that like released this information. And who else is the evil person in Erha? It's Xi Menjing.
Fucking Ximei.
It's Ximei. And then you find out about Ximei, and Ximei's life is really, really fucked up. And it goes from like, you're reading all of these chapters about Moran and Chuaning, and you think that that's it, but then all of a sudden it shifts over to Ximei, and you're like, wait, why would Ximei do this? And it goes into how bad Ximei's life is.
I feel like even in the original book, I kind of like felt a lot of sympathy for Ximei, even though like he like technically he's a bad person, but like
oh yeah,
I feel like everyone had.
Oh, I love Ximei's backstory. I wish actually they did so worse things to Ximei, so that there was even more reason for them to betray all of his friends and stuff. Like Ximei's life was fucked, but in this fic they really make it fucked.
Even more fucked.
Like a perfect fucked.
Oh, okay. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Very rewarding.
It feels like it's gonna hurt my heart.
It will hurt your heart, and you know what's gonna hurt even more? It's Not done yet.
Oh no, it's not even finished, ma'am. Stop recommending me
17 out
unfinished.
of 19
Ma'am.
chapters.
Okay, two
I
more left.
know,
That's not
I
too
know,
bad.
I
That's
know,
not too
I
bad.
know.
Yeah.
But the last time,
I'm only reading. I refuse to read unfinished fic, but there is like one that I am reading that's unfinished. But like,
is it like hundreds of chapters though?
no, it's like I think it's at like 20 something right now. But they're short
Okay,
chapters, so
okay.
I'm like, okay, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
everything else,
yeah.
I'm like, I have to wait till it's done.
So the thing is, this author hasn't updated since like the mid-December, and it's already the end of January. So I'm like, yo,
Damn.
hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
Oh no.
Gimme.
Okay.
I need to find out what happens. I haven't even told
waited
you.
till it was all done.
I haven't even told you what the like really bad
Oh,
thing.
God.
The
Oh,
really
God.
really bad thing. There's a really really bad thing, you guys. It's like
Okay.
really sad. Anyway, so
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I hope you
I'll
guys.
check it out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sad. Okay, that's fine.
It's fine. Next week, I'm gonna try and only find fluffy fanfics
Yeah,
because
we need fucking happy after all this bullshit.
oh
Bruh.
my god, my heart.
Like it's only getting worse. Like the next chapter is about the stealing attempt.
I'm not ready. I
Yeah.
can't. It's so sad.
It's like fucked.
I'm
I
gonna
feel so-
find Marshall and
This
be
is-
like,
we have-
Marshall.
Xie Lian is hitting rock bottom. Like this whole
Yeah.
journey is him hitting rock bottom. Like he has to hit rock bottom.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Ugh.
Oh my god.
Okay. Anyways.
Woo. All right. So let's talk about our Patreon.
Yeah.
um.
Thank you for supporting us on our Patreon.
Yeah. Thank you for supporting our Patreon. We have a new comment, and it's from Kate Payne.
Hello, Kate.
She listened to episode 34 of the Bottom Show, and she says, "Okay, I really need this horny cave fanfic. You guys have
Oh my
any?
God.
We're gonna need to talk about horny cave fanfics.
Oh my! I can find it. I can talk about it at the bottom of the show.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
Let's talk about
okay.
horny cave fanfic at the bottom of the show. So
Bet.
that makes it so that you guys have to come listen to the bottom of the show, which is only available through our Patreon.
Yes.
And if you are one of our Patreon supporters, then you will also be shouted out from the C20 tier. And yeah, we have our C20 tier over here. Thank you to Kate Payne.
Thank you, Kita.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Faceboy23.
And thank you, George. You guys are supporting us, and it means so much. We only shout out the C20 tier, but all the other tiers get some cool things too. If you guys want to go and check that out, and if you haven't already, please follow us on our Twitter, our YouTube, where we post our live stream VODs.
Every
And
Tuesday.
yeah, and of course, follow us on our Patreon.
And as little ghost watching said, I won't forget your highness. I am forever your most devoted believer. God, that scene was so good.
Fuck.
So good.
Oh,
So fucking good. God damn.
bye, everyone.
Bye.
All right, that was a very long stream, you guys.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yes, I hope you
Sorry,
enjoyed it.
so
It was a
long.
lot of emotions. I cried.
God.
I can't believe I cried.
I'm gonna be like gutted for the next few episodes. I'm just gonna be like empty.
I feel empty right now. Okay, Jesus Christ, my heart hurts. We're gonna go record our bottom show. So if you want to listen to them, please support us on Patreon so that we can pay all of the fees that go into running our show, and also for paying for cool things that we want to have in the future, such as like cool art and stuff for our thing. And then maybe we could also like put money into all of these like fan fiction writers and be like, write this fan fiction we want.
At IkiCon, I actually talked to somebody who was interested in like merchandising.
Hey.
So I was like, I will talk to Stella about this later, and I just remembered it now. So
Heck yes. Heck yes. Awesome. Perfect. All right. Bye, everybody. See ya.